gives you the news and what it means to you. Wisconsin's radio station. News Radio 620 WTMJ, Milwaukee.
At 9:02, it's 34 degrees. Dense fog advisory still in effect until 10 a.m. for all of southeast Wisconsin. Afternoon sunshine today, a high of 47, down to 39 tonight. From the WTMJ Breaking News Center, I'm Adam Roberts. Today marks 1 year since the death of Milwaukee police officer Peter Jerving in the line of duty while attempting to arrest a robbery suspect. Peter's mother, Patty, tells TMJ4 News the family has received several gifts and letters over the last year from both close friends and total strangers.
Peter loved Milwaukee, and over this past year, Milwaukee has shown how much they love Peter, and that's meant a lot.
Patty says she has been writing a book to help cope with the loss of her son. The Menominee Indian Tribe of Wisconsin and Kenosha County taking another step forward towards a proposed Hard Rock casino.
Not everybody goes to a casino to gamble nowadays.
Chairman of the Menominee-Kenosha Gaming Authority, Joey Owanahope, joined Wisconsin's Afternoon News. He says he's not worried about the oversaturation of casino properties because he's calling the Kenosha Hard Rock an entertainment destination center.
The choice of restaurant, from a high-end steakhouse to maybe a buffet style. We'll have local performers in the Hard Rock Cafe.
The proposal next heads to the Bureau of Indian Affairs and then to Governor Tony Evers. Jessica Gatso, WTMJ News.
After an attempted impeachment of Alejandro Mayorkas was thwarted by a handful of House Republicans overnight, including Wisconsin Congressman Mike Gallagher, now the GOP is turning their efforts to crushing a proposed bipartisan southern border bill.
The border proposal is part of a wider bill that includes funding for Ukraine and Israel, which also remains in limbo this morning. The bill includes a trigger mechanism. When migrant apprehensions reach 5,000 per day, the border would automatically shut down. But opponents insist that's not enough and still allows too many illegal crossings. Democrats claim Republicans are only opposing the bill because of pressure from former President Trump.
It's time for Republicans in the Congress to show a little courage, to show a little spine.
Ike Ajachi, ABC News, Washington.
The EPA today announcing a new anti-pollution rule.
The EPA is cracking down on air pollution known as particulate matter, things that include dust, soot, or liquid droplets that stay in the air for a long time.
We know that particulate matter in the outside air leads to death.
The environmental group Earth Justice official Patrice Sims praising the EPA for setting new particulate matter standards, but some industries fear they will add job-killing anti-pollution costs. Andy Field, ABC News.
And a warm winter in Wisconsin impacting all walks of outdoor life. In northern Wisconsin, many business owners are being forced to make some very tough decisions.
No snow means no business for places like Boat Sport Marina and Power Sports.
This year, we've been unable to rent our snowmobiles at all, which has never happened.
John Moores owns the snowmobile shop. He tells me now he's being forced to lay off most of his employees.
We know all our employees. We know their families. They're just not a number on a spreadsheet for me.
He would like the governor to declare a state of emergency, similar to what happens during a drought.
You know, it's just not affecting the Northwoods. It's affecting the whole state.
In Eagle River, John Merkier, WTMJ News.
In southeast Wisconsin, Amy Wendt, co-owner of Wentz on the Lake north of Fond du Lac, tells WTMJ the annual sturgeon spearing season could see lower turnout than usual due to less than ideal ice conditions.
The pools we usually by now have 500-600 names on them. Right now we're at like 150. I think that we'll be busy with just onlookers, but as for spears, it'll be the diehards. I know the majority of people coming in right now are saying we're not going out there.
The sturgeon season scheduled to open this Saturday at 7 a.m. Time for news about your money. The WTMJ Annex Wealth Management Market Update, still all green for the majors. The Dow Jones up 59 points this morning to 38,580. The S&P 500 up 17 to 4,971. And the Nasdaq up 40 to 15,648. Annex Comprehensive Wealth, Annex Private Client, Annex Ignite. Financial planning at every level. Details at annexwealth.com. The Bucks get burned in the desert. We'll have that plus your roads and 5-day forecast up next. Citing Unlimited, WTMJ News Time, 9:06.
This report's sponsored by Mr. Holland's Heating and Air Conditioning. Visit MrHollandsHeatingandAir.com.
Candlelight dinners are romantic, but not for 3 weeks straight. Hi, this is Steve from Mr. Holland's Home Services. Sure, the flickering flame of a scented candle can set the mood, but your mood will suddenly sour if the lights stay off for an extended period of time. It happens. Power lines freeze and fall, the grid goes down, along with your refrigerator, microwave, furnace, and internet. And let me tell you, eating cold cuts by candlelight will test even the strongest relationship. But we have the solution to your potential power problems. Let Mr. Holland's Home Services install a brand new whole house backup generator. It's hardwired to your home's electrical network to keep the lights burning and the power churning. You may also qualify for 24 months interest-free financing. Call Mr. Holland's Home Services, 866-992-1717, or visit MrHollandsHomeservices.com. For peace of mind you can't hold a candle to, we can help.
This is a story about how Walker Media Agency even makes rivets exciting. Vince Vitrano here. When you work with Matt Walker and his team, they get your company website working for you. Prairie Rivet in South Central Wisconsin, their website didn't even list all of the rivets they so proudly produce online. Walker Media Agency built a site for them that tells their story, highlights company leaders, and if you need rivets, a full description of what Prairie makes and how to order them. Have Walker Media Agency build your company a site that works as hard as you do. Find them at WalkerWTMJ.com.
Hey, Wayne, shopping for a new door? Do you need something more dependable?
Yes, something that's durable, dent-resistant, knows how to take a hit, and is going to last for years.
We're still talking about the door, right?
Oh, yeah, right, of course.
Wayne Larrabee and Jeff Levering shopping together at Pella? What next? How about 0% interest for up to 60 months when you place your order by February 23rd at Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin. Visit PellaWI.com.
Certain restrictions apply. See showroom for details. Offer ends 2/23/2024.
Time for a WTMJ sports update.
The Bucks were up against it last night in the desert, falling to Phoenix 114-106. Dame didn't play, neither did Brooke Lopez, and Chris Middleton stepped on Kevin Durant's foot, missed most of the game, and left the arena in a walking boot. Milwaukee went 1-4 on the road trip with Doc Rivers at the controls. Back home tomorrow night to host Minnesota. The Badgers have a great opportunity to snap their two-game losing streak tonight on the road in Ann Arbor to face last-placed Michigan. Tip-off is set for 6 p.m. Coaching staff shuffle in Green Bay as former defensive coordinator Joe Barry heads to Miami to become the Dolphins linebackers coach, replacing the former guy who held that position, Anthony Campanile, who now takes over that same role in Green Bay with the Packers. I'm Bob Brainerd, WTMJ Sports.
Taking a look at your roads, your WTMJ Johnson & Sons paving time saver traffic just a bit slow on 94 East from about 68th Street through the stadium to about 35th right now. Not impacting your drive time from the zoo to the Marquette this morning. The rest of the system looking quite well. No other major incidents or delays.
Traffic is sponsored by Hall Mazda Milwaukee. Visit hallmazdamilwaukee.com.
Be our eyes on the roads. Report accidents, slowdowns, and road conditions to the WTMJ Hall Mazda traffic tip line at 414-238-9329.
The WTMJ 5-day forecast. Dense fog advisory still in effect for southeast Wisconsin until 10 this morning. We'll see filtered afternoon sunshine with a high of 47. Mostly cloudy and mild overnight tonight with a low down to 39. Thursday, how about this? 54 for the high. Could see scattered showers, maybe even a few rumbles of thunder as well. Partly cloudy, breezy for your Friday. A high of 52, though it will fall throughout the afternoon. 40 the high on Saturday and partly cloudy. Back down to 38 on Sunday. Right now in Madison, cloudy skies and 31 degrees. A little bit warmer in Green Bay, 32 and cloudy. Waukesha checking in cloudy and 33. And in Milwaukee, cloudy skies and 34 degrees. I'm Adam Roberts, signing Unlimited WTMJ News Time 9:10.
Welcome to the Public Safety Hour on WTMJ Now. It's time to take a look at the issues facing public safety officials in Wisconsin and across the country. Joining Steve Scaffidi, here's your expert, Annie Schwartz.
And good morning, everybody. Welcome to Wednesday's Public Safety Hour. Yes, Annie Schwartz in studio. Good morning, Annie.
You're expert. I can't get used to that. That's kind of cute because I always made.
We can change it if you want.
No, I like it. Expertress. I don't know. I always remember the joke about the definition of an expert is anybody from more than 100 miles from home with a briefcase or a PowerPoint. So, but I'll take it.
We have higher standards than that.
Absolutely.
So we
I'll
got
take
an
it.
interesting hour today. Joining us at 9:30 is the former police chief of Milwaukee, Al Morales, who is now the Fitchburg police chief. And he's got an interesting story to tell And one that you and I have talked about before, and it has to do with some people's idea that we should defund the police.
Well, sure. And, we thought that issue was dead, but you're going to find out that in, fabulous Fitchburg, Wisconsin, it is not dead. And what's happening is Chief Morales is trying to keep this from happening. We all remember the Cop City protests in Atlanta when they were building a training.
For folks who don't know, when we say Cop City, I've watched a lot about this story. Very controversial in Atlanta. How would you describe what that project is?
Sure. Well, in a nutshell, the Cop City project in Atlanta was when the Atlanta Police Department, or the city of Atlanta, rather, decided they were going to build a training facility on some land in Atlanta, and it was at the one of the many awful things that came out of the George Floyd case was, of course, this idea that the police have too much power. We should not give them more money to train. And actually what the lessons of George Floyd were they need more resources to train with. But I think people don't always understand what is available to the officers. And while you heard about in Atlanta, they even had a protester who was shot and killed by an officer because they became violently opposed. There is a small group of people who are opposed to a new police station for the city of Fitchburg. But it's an interesting discussion. I think Chief Morales is going to surprise us a little bit with what conditions some police departments are actually operating under in their facilities. As a journalist covering the police beat, I covered a ton of stories where police departments were just begging for new facilities. I remember the village of Pewaukee when Ed Bauman was chief there, and they were just begging for a new police department. In fact, I went through with him. And we walked and he showed me all the piles of, papers and, how evidence storage, was being taken care of or not taken care of.
Right.
So I think it's this is going to be I'm looking forward to the discussion because, Chief Morales had served in Milwaukee and then from Milwaukee went to Fitchburg, obviously a smaller community, but this is a huge project. And it's a huge thing to walk into a department as the police chief and have someone say, hey, we think that somewhere in the, $40 million range is a new police a new police training facility that we need, a new police department that would include a training facility.
Having been in charge of a city that both built a new police station and a new city hall, actually, and a new library as well. I mean, these are very controversial decisions, not necessarily in our case for the idea of a police station, but for the amount of money that has to be devoted to those projects.
And that's, and what people see it as is they don't see it as an investment in their safety. They see it as an opportunity cost. Well, if we're doing this, there must be something else we're not paying for. In Fitchburg, they've built a library and 3 fire stations. I'm not saying those things aren't important, but you're going to hear Chief Morales talk about exactly what the conditions are like there and why this is so important for the city.
She is Annie Schwartz. We got some local stories to cover before we get to Chief Al Morales. That'll be about 9:30. Annie Schwartz, and yours truly, the Public Safety Hour right here on WTMJ.
More of WTMJ now after this.
Wake up with me. Hey, it's WTMJ's Greg Matzik. Tune in every Monday and Friday at 8:15 for Matzik's Morning Minute during Wisconsin's Morning News. Everything you need to know about all your favorite Wisconsin teams in just 60 seconds. Picked up by Lillard, lobs to Giannis, who thumps it down on the alley-oop. Every Monday and Friday at 8:15 during Wisconsin's Morning News.
Coaching in the arena and your jerseys hanging above you, I can turn to the players and say, guys, I swear to God, I play basketball. Just look up.
Sponsored by Holiday Automotive in Fond du Lac.
Hey, this is WTMJ Steve Scaffidi. For Adair Floors and Remodeling, I've shared the pictures. My old, dingy, beat-up linoleum floor in my basement landing area on my way to my Packer Shrine, of course. Redone by Adair Floors and Remodeling. Beautiful plank floor made for basements. Well, you can experience that, too, with their great design team. They're ready to help you with all your flooring and remodeling needs. Adair Floors and Remodeling, South 27th Street in Franklin, has been in business for 65 years. That's 65 years. They put my kitchen floor in 20-plus years ago. Still looks fantastic. For your home or your business, family-owned and operated right there in Franklin, Wisconsin, right on South 27th Street, south of Rawson Avenue, north of Highway 100, Ryan Road. Stop in and tell them Scaffidi sent you, or visit them online first at AdairFloors.com.
Our mission is to protect and uphold our reputation. At Semper Fi, it's the banner we all march under, because the reputation we earn and uphold belongs to all of us. And without a strong reputation in the exterior remodeling business, you're here today and gone tomorrow. And when you've earned a good reputation, that's what makes the difference in value. It's the little extra that you get for the price. And that assurance is actually what counts the most, because it means the good money you're spending with us is not going to go to waste. A roof you can rely on, with a warranty that has a backbone, Craftsman quality airtight window and door installations, brick and stone masonry that's clean and sharp, and new siding that's been known to stop traffic. And it's all backed by a team that over the last 20 years have put a lot of heart and soul into building a reputation that you can believe in. This is Brad Youngluth with Semper Fi Roofing and Exteriors, your local, veteran-owned and operated exterior remodeling company.
We keep you safe, warm, and dry. Semper Fi.
Tune in on Sundays at 10 a.m. for the AccuNet Mortgage and Realty Show. Join AccuNet's Brian and David Wickert for the most up-to-date information on mortgage trends, along with timely news on the real estate market. The housing market is in flux, but the national headlines don't often fit local market conditions. Find out what's really happening on the front lines of real estate and mortgage financing in Wisconsin and make better decisions by tuning in every Sunday at 10 a.m. The AccuNet Mortgage and Realty Show with Brian and David Wickert on WTMJ.
WTMJ Now.
Well, not literally.
Not literally.
Figuratively, she's on fire. Although this sort of relates to a story related to the Milwaukee firefighters and an older Supreme Court decision last year, I believe, right?
Mm-hmm,
that awarded these firefighters from the city employees retirement system some sort of recalculated benefits.
Absolutely. Mm-hmm.
And then a local law, is it local law firm, right?
It's a local law firm.
McGillis Weimer. They put their hands on it and said, you know what, we're going to take some of the money from this suit as compensation. I wanted to point out, though, and you and I were talking about this during the break, they were already paid by the union, correct? Previously.
I've been told that is true. What I think is important, though, is, you know, when people hear about these kinds of stories, it's important for them to know that when in this particular case, when this firm is asking for money that is owed to disabled police officers, this doesn't come out of a mystery fund somewhere. This doesn't come out of the city coffers. This comes directly out of the pockets.
Yeah, we're talking about 1/3 cut of $2 million, basically $700,000 of compensation they feel, the firm of McGillis Weimer feels they're entitled to as a result of this payment, retroactive payments to Milwaukee firefighters.
It's a head scratcher, Steve. It really is.
It's a bad look.
It just is. And, you know, I let's talk about it in terms of real people, which is really how we tell stories, right? Graham Kunish, a police officer who many people remember, was shot in the face and the head on the South Side in 2000 and, oh gosh, how did I just forget the year? I think it was about 2010. And he had to retire as a police officer, lost an eye, serious damage to his frontal lobe, and he is owed, as when the benefits, his duty disability retirement benefits were recalculated, he is now owed in the neighborhood of $30,000. Mm-hmm. And what's happening is you have a law firm who's come along and said, we want, $10,000 of that. We want 1/3 of that. So to me, this is tough because I understand completely that law firms should get paid when they do work for clients, but these were not even clients of this law firm. And there's been a lot of very interesting comments and a lot of really informative comments. I would invite people to look at some of that from Andy Wagner, the president of the Milwaukee Police Association, and he has talked very fully about how he feels about this.
He was on our airwaves, I believe, Monday of this week, or maybe it was last Friday, but I saw him in the building. McGillis Weimer is demanding 1/3 of the back benefits, right?
Correct.
Paid to the retired cops. And as you said, they were not a party to this case. That's the tricky part, right? So they weren't directly working on the case, but yet they feel they're entitled to that $700,000.
Because of the work that they did on the first one. Right. And, I've been trying to think of an analogy for it, but I really can't. But
here's a sports analogy. Ooh. You played in a team that went to the Super Bowl, but you were traded mid-season. You played in the first half of the season. You feel like you should get a Super Bowl ring. Now sometimes that happens. Sometimes it doesn't. Mm-hmm. It's up to the team. Mm-hmm. So who makes the call on this? Who's going to make the final call?
Judge Brittany Grayson. So this is now in court in Milwaukee County. Judge Brittany Grayson heard arguments on this on Monday of this week. And now she has said that she is going to issue a written response within 60 days. So within 60 days, we'll hear what she has to say and what she has decided.
I'm on the side of them not getting paid. They were already paid once. I understand that settlements are part of what law firms use to capitalize their law firms and as part of their compensation, but this one's a little tricky, especially what we're talking about here with firefighters and police officers. That's a little different, and I'm on the side of the public safety professionals. That's me.
And I'm almost always on that side as well, and I certainly am in this case.
Annie Schwartz, take another break here. A dress code, a policy that is sort of interesting. I have some thoughts, I know Annie does, on are we going back to some standards for how police officers, is it firefighters too or just police officers?
I think that you know what? If someone is in our audience who's a firefighter and can tell me, I think that firefighters are not allowed to have like full beards because they have to be able to get that SCBU around their faces.
You're right on that. Yeah, so that may already be the case. But for police officers, those men and women, there may be some changes that may or may not be popular. We'll talk about that with Annie Schwartz, our public safety expert, after this.
More of WTMJ Now after this.
Hey, Vince Vitrano.
And Eric Bilstead here from Wisconsin's Morning News.
Join us all week long. We're going to be giving away Barry Manilow tickets to the show coming up in Milwaukee at Fiserv Forum.
Looks like we made it.
Saturday, August 3rd is the show.
It's a night of singing along to your favorite tunes with the man himself. We'll be giving tickets away every day. Just be sure you're listening to Wisconsin's Morning News.
We'll do it all week right here on WTMJ. The show's on 6 to 9 every morning. It's Barry Manilow at Fiserv Forum on Saturday, August 3rd.
Hey, this is WTMJ Steve Scaffidi for Advent. I had snoring issues. I was tossing and turning at night, not getting a good night's sleep. That is no way to live your life. You don't have to. I went to Advent, one of the great facilities, and in a quick 30-minute visit, they really put me at ease. We did a really simple sleep study at home in my own bed. They determined my problem, sinuses, nasal passages in my breathing triangle. I did something about it. After a short procedure done in office, I'm back to breathing well. My wife Kathy and I sleeping through the whole night, every night. That is a treat that you deserve for yourself. If you struggle with restless nights like I did, take the time to see how Advent can help you. To find out how breathing well and sleeping well can make your nights better, do what I did. Go to AdventKnows.com and schedule an appointment today. That's why they say every day. I say it. Advent knows when you breathe well, you live better.
Spectrum Business is made to work like your small business. Made to do it all with fast, ultra-reliable internet, phone, and mobile services. And made to work with a small business budget. Get 600 megabit per second business internet for just $49.99 a month for 1 year with select bundles. Plus, get an unlimited mobile line for free. Visit Spectrum.com/work to lock in this deal now. Learn more at Spectrum.com/work. Restrictions apply. Services not available in all areas.
Get help for your house this Saturday from Eric Brown. The president of Siding Unlimited knows his stuff. Yes, their name is Siding, but they do so much more. Windows by Pella and others, roofing, decks. That's why they are Siding Unlimited. Eric can advise you with anything about your home's exterior. Make a point to listen and call Eric this Saturday on WTMJ's Fix-It Show. And remember why they are called Siding Unlimited. They are siding and much, much more. See sidingunlimited.com and you'll see.
It's WTMJ Now.
Wednesdays at 9, meet Annie Schwartz at 9, now 9:26 on WTMJ. Thanks for tuning in. However you find us over the air, online podcasts. I do 3 podcasts a week now, 2 Decision Wisconsin on politics, and the one I sort of really love is Scaffidi, named after me, which is me talking about everything else other than politics.
Shocked, simply shocked, to find out that it is called Scaffidi.
Yeah. Isn't it a clever name?
Pardon me?
Isn't it a clever name?
Oh, I don't know how in the world you came up with it.
Yeah. Well, I just took ology and put it on my name.
Well, I figured you were staring in the mirror when you did it. So
I don't spend a lot of time staring in the mirror. You know me better than that. All right. Speaking of that, sometimes when public safety professionals stare in the mirror, they see tattoos and beards and facial hair and long hair. Well, maybe not in the future, Annie Schwartz.
Well, NYPD, the New York City Police Department, is it the largest police department in the country? I think so. I think LA is like number 2.
Yeah, they're probably pretty close.
But, they are usually on the cutting edge of whatever is happening in law enforcement. They were the ones that started the stop and frisk, and then stop and frisk, moved through the country, through police departments across the country. Well, NYPD has their hands full these days, as we've seen. We've seen it all. You watch the news at night, and you are seeing what's happening on the streets of a lot of our major cities. Well, the NYPD has said, we're gonna go back to old school when it comes to facial hair and officer uniforms, and they're going to soon. They've decided that their beards and open collars are going to be prohibited soon, and the department's going to go back to weather restrictions on knit caps. And he says we're going back old school, and I think that they're trying to go back to a tradition that was always identified with the police. I think I remember when Ed Flynn was chief here, and he introduced baseball hats for the officers, and then he even made sure that the female officers could put their ponytails,
right,
or a bun in the back of there was a hole in the back of the cap for the ponytail, and I had no idea how much changing that would be a morale booster for that department, but they loved that baseball hat. Now you see them everywhere. But in NYPD, I think they're really struggling to figure out how do we get back to basics in this department so that we can do something about, is there a connection between how groomed your officers are and their ability to prevent violent crime?
So I have both a personal take on it. I like it. But I also understand the realities of public safety now. And I talk to more chiefs than I do just the men and women who patrol and do all the other hard work, heavy lifting every day. I would imagine this wouldn't be popular, let's say, here. Because I can remember a time when you couldn't display your tattoos. They had to be covered.
Exactly.
I can remember a time when you couldn't have facial hair for public safety professionals. I think that ship has sailed. Mm-hmm. And whatever New York's doing, well, that's New York. I don't see that catching on in other departments across the country.
As I said, NYPD has often led other departments in the country on things that they do and procedures that they have. This one, is they're understaffed. This is a quote from their union, which I think the PBA, the Police Benevolent Association,
right,
which makes a lot of sense. He says NYPD is understaffed by thousands of police officers. He said we got hundreds of people leaving every month. He said, really, we don't have bigger issues to tackle. And he said, is this really the time to focus on beards and neckties? And I get that argument. Mm-hmm. But I think what's happening is there is a real struggle, at least in that department, to figure out what are we gonna do. There are different looks that police officers have. Some of them are cultural. Some of them are religious. Sikh officers are allowed to wear the head covering. Mm-hmm. There are officers that feel strongly, or maybe just don't understand how that's a part of the job, that they can't have a fuller beard. So, to me, NYPD is going to do whatever they can do to right the ship, and I sure get that. It is led now by a group of really traditional officers, kind of in the style of Bill Bratton from Once Upon a Time.
Yeah. I would just say this, not coming to a police department in the state of Wisconsin anytime soon. These changes.
I don't think so. I haven't heard that. I don't want to. This should not be interpreted as a call to action.
Maybe we'll ask Chief Morales what his take is on that. That'd be kind of fun.
There you go.
All right. He joins us after the break. Chief Morales from the Fitchburg Police Department. You may know him as the former chief of the Milwaukee Police Department. All of that and Annie Schwartz. That's worth the price of admission just on its own. That's all next.
More of WTMJ now after this.
Welcome to our Everyday Health feature brought to you by the Freighter to the Medical College of Wisconsin Health Network. Heart disease remains the leading cause of death for men and women in the United States. Fortunately, there are steps you can take to reduce your risk. Here to talk about heart and vascular conditions and treatment options is Dr. Stefano Skena a cardiothoracic surgeon from the nationally recognized Fredericton MCW Heart Team. Thank you so much for being with us, Doctor.
Thank you for inviting me.
Let's start with this. What are common risk factors for heart disease?
Risk factors include those that can not be controlled by patient, such as a strong family history of cardiovascular disease, and then factors that can be managed by either through medications or appropriate change in lifestyle, like high blood pressure, high cholesterol, lack of exercise, poor diet, history of smoking, including vaping, and or heavy alcohol consumption, and last but not least, advanced age.
When should someone see a cardiologist? How do they know?
Well, a cardiologist should be seen upon recommendation provided by a primary care physician if you have the risk factors mentioned above, including the strong family history or a suspicion that a heart condition might be ongoing. The cardiologists have a specialty training not only in advising but also in treating diseases of the heart.
Dr. Stefano Scena is with us. What heart conditions does your team treat?
We are fortunate to work in a quaternary center here at Fredericton Medical College of Wisconsin, so we do treat all heart conditions from common to complex, stemming from coronary artery disease, heart valve disease affecting any type of valve, aortic disease, heart failure, and last but not least, the most common arrhythmias such as atrial fibrillation.
Dr. Stefano Scena, thank you so much for being with us today.
Thank you very much for having me.
Find a doctor who's right for you by visiting freighter.com/heart.
WTMJ Now.
I love this song. I'm going to let it play for a little bit. No, I'm not. We have a great guest. Former chief of the Milwaukee Police Department and now the police chief in Fitchburg, Wisconsin. Chief Al Morales joins us in the Tri-County Contracting Hotline. Good morning, Chief.
Good morning, Steve. How you doing?
I'm good. Andy Schwartz alongside.
Good morning, Chief. I'm so happy you joined us today to talk about this.
Hello, Annie. Thank you both for having us here. We appreciate it.
So Annie kind of filled me in on some of this. I was not aware of this, but I'll put it this way. I'm going to kind of let you go on this. Just when we thought, Annie and I thought that the Fund the Police movement is sort of over, well, apparently it's still alive in the place where you reside and serve, Fitchburg.
Yeah, I would say that's correct. There's still groups in Dane County and within Madison or outside of the city of Fitchburg that still believe on taking money from public services like law enforcement and placing them more on social services or services out of the realm of city government. There's still that push, and when you have projects like the ones that we have going on here at Fitchburg, they tend to come out and voice their opinions.
Chief, the idea of having a new police station, a new police building, a lot of times I think there's a misunderstanding in the public. Steve and I were talking earlier, done lots of stories as a journalist about police chiefs having these battle royales with their city councils over trying to get a new police building. Can you tell us a little bit about what it was like when you just walked into Fitchburg and you saw what kind of what you were looking at and how you came to the process of saying we gotta change this up?
Yes. Well, I first have to start off by explaining what Fitchburg looks like. It's a city of 34 square miles just south of the city of Madison. This is a beautiful place. It's got a lot of things to offer. It's an area where I tell you, really, it's a place where you can live, work, and raise a family. The incomes are well. It's very vibrant. All day long, you'll see a lot of traffic. You'll see people exercising, whether on a bicycle or walking their pets. Really safe, crime-wise. Unbelievably safe to what we're used to over on the east side of the state. But it's vastly growing. And when I came into Fitchburg, the Fitchburg Police Department, I realized that, it started off as a small farming community, and it has grown to a city that's growing. Currently, or 2023, we were the fastest growing city in the state of Wisconsin, just under 10% growth. That's about 725 residents a year. So we're growing at a pace where we're currently at 34,000, and we'll be at 40 within the next 5 to 7 years.
So what does that mean when it comes to, when you're talking police, We know that there's a huge recruiting and retention problem, but we also know we need to have more training for our officers. What kind of facility are you looking at that you have now, and what are you looking to build?
Well, you're hit right on the money. I came to a city where realistically there is no police station. We're in the basement of City Hall. Now, when they built City Hall back in 1999, they did build it with the intention of having the police in the lower levels, but they really didn't take into consideration what it takes to build a police station. So City of Fitchburg Police Department has yet in their history to have a police station, a police facility that's purpose-built for the police department. And there's a lot of pieces that go into building a police station that is not like any other general building. And many times when you talk with people about building a facility, they look at it as office space. And a police station is not office space. So when I came to Fitchburg, you indicated right away after 2020, there was a large group of tenured police officers and rank and file that left. They retired or they quit, resigned. And now we have a young department, and that's anywhere in the state or the country. Law enforcement is very young, and we need to rebuild that piece. And the other challenge in Fitchburg is a police station, the first in their history. And that's what I'm trying to do, is get them a station that's going to help us transition into this new era and really help the department grow to give the community here what they deserve.
And what people don't know or probably haven't read is that the city has built a new library, right? They've built, I think, 3 new fire stations, and yet you're still sitting in the basement, what'd you say, in the 1990s, in the basement of City Hall. That doesn't seem equitable, especially given the significance and importance of public service from public safety perspective.
Equitable or safe.
Right,
I mean,
right.
Chief, weren't you? When we were speaking about this issue, you were talking about some of the conditions at the department, things like no Sally port. Can you tell us a little bit about the things that you don't have there? I mean, that's got to be. I was shocked.
Yes, as law enforcement leaders, we always look at our police departments to be accredited. And when I came to Fitchburg, the prior leadership did a great job at pushing our accreditation with the staff. So the officers here do great work, and we do have our policies and our checks and measures for that, but the facility alone will fail us. And it would fail us because of, without pointing the finger, who knows what the thought processes were in 99 when this City Hall was built. So I don't want to point the finger, but I'll give you a perfect example. When we're packaging drugs, such as marijuana, it fills the air in the entire City Hall. So you could be up at council chambers, you could smell through the HVAC system, you could smell the marijuana coming from the basement.
Not necessarily a good look for the police department.
No, not necessarily. Many people don't know where the Fitchburg Police Department is.
That's a problem.
There's only one sign outside, and it's again, we're in the lower levels. I call it the basement. Mm-hmm. Our evidence is in the basement, so we struggle with moisture. If you can know what damp basements are, and that's also where our closet is for our ammunition. So those things need to be kept in dry, temperature-controlled environments, which we don't have. This building was, or the police area that we had was built more like office space than a police facility. And I could just tell you the world that I came from, if you built a police station, it has its garage where you can park squad cars, where you can, and there's a reason for that, and where you can unload safely a prisoner or load a prisoner safely. Where you can package narcotics, where you have your executive or command staff that can actually have meetings without being interrupted or without having staff immediately outside your door, especially if there's sensitive topics such as internal investigations, where you have your patrol area where they can conduct their business, their briefings, their roll calls, and not be interrupted by the other moving parts within the station. Those are purpose-built facilities, to include the holding area, the temporary holding facility, which are these temporary jails where you book and process people and interview them before they go to the county jail. That is a purpose-built facility, and if you built it right, that building will last several years, like they have in Milwaukee. And many times what you invest in is more in upgrades than you do in tearing down the building and putting up another one.
He is Chief Al Morales, city of Fitchburg, also formerly from the city of Milwaukee, the police department here. We'll take a break. We'll continue the conversation with Chief Morales after this on WTMJ Now.
More of WTMJ Now after this.
The pain was so bad I could barely walk, and now after stem cell treatment, I run marathons.
Now, this is an exaggeration, but I do hear about unbelievable miracle outcomes, and I have to ask, do you really believe them? If they were true, these biological treatments wouldn't even have to be advertised. Truth is, stem cell effectiveness is nowhere near 100%. It's expensive, and it doesn't last. At Rejuvenex, our FDA-approved pharmacological treatments ease inflammation and reduce pain. They're precisely administered to where your pain lives, and they work. Will the pain reduction last forever? No. But in some cases, relief has lasted as long as 24 months, and in most cases, insurance has paid for the treatments entirely. This is Richard Salinas, registered nurse with Rejuvenex Arthritis Clinics, where we can alleviate your pain and rejuvenate your life.
Alleviate your pain, rejuvenate your life.
Go to rejuvenex.com to request your appointment.
With inflation affecting so many families, the super affordable Mind Chef restaurant in Hartford is more popular than ever. WTMJ's John Mercure here. I love the Mind Chef. It's big food, big fun. And check this out. The Mind Chef has lowered the price on their Wednesday and Friday fish fry. The cod is all you can eat. It's just $9.99. Now the shrimp, perch, and poor man's lobster are all $99 and all you can eat. Don't pay $16 to $20 for a fish fry. It's just $9.99 at the Mind Chef. Wow! Build your own burger or chicken sandwich today with a pile of hot fries for under $10. Desserts are buy one, get one free. I love that. Every Thursday, buy one pizza, get one free. Order pizza today for your loyal employees and pick it up tomorrow. They're gonna love it. Happy hour is 2 till 5 with half-price drinks and appetizers. The super affordable Mind Chef restaurant on Main Street, downtown Hartford, and just off the interstate in Oshkosh. Walk in today. Enjoy the all-you-can-eat fish fry for under $10.
Download the free Upside app to earn real cash back every time you buy gas. Use promo code GIFT for an extra 25 cents per gallon on your first fill-up. That's promo code GIFT.
At Uline, they know firsthand the road to success is an uphill climb. Uline started in the family basement, and through hard work is now North America's most trusted shipping and industrial supplier. They get what it means to have the support of reliable, hard-working partners. So they keep 41,000 items ready to ship. Whether your company is still in a basement office or expanding cross-country, Uline will be there on your road to success. Visit uline.com.
WTMJ's Vince Vitrano for Inspired Closets. Did you know people with shoe racks are 7 times more likely to be on time for work? Inspired Closets will help you calm the chaos in your closets or your laundry room, your pantry, any space that needs it. They come out for a free visit, listen to your needs, and then use their special 3D software to customize a space that helps you manage your world. Call my friends Katie and Dan today, wife-husband team ready to help. Inspired days start in Inspired Closets. Inspired Closets, MKE.com.
It's WTMJ Now.
Public Safety Hour here at WTMJ Now. Andy Schwartz in studio and on the phone. Tri-County Contracting Hotline is the former police chief of Milwaukee, now the head guy at the Fitchburg Police Department, Al Morales. So, Chief Morales, I want to ask you, a lot of people say, well, it's what they have to deal with it. But it's not as simple as that. You're paying for other facilities, other places to do your jobs. That's coming out of the budget, and that's something that's not sustainable over time. That's why some of these decisions are really important. I know you have a vote next Tuesday, I believe, on a new police station. This stuff matters.
Yes, it does. It matters. We have a staff currently that has under 3 years of experience. So when we talk about training, we're really utilizing only the minimum requirements or just above the minimum requirements because of venue. Currently, we rent out space at the City of Madison's training academy or Dane County Sheriff's training facility. Now, as we all know, there is a large turnover in law enforcement, and we're still suffering the impact of 2020. So you're going to have more training academy classes going on, and you're going to be retraining or training young officers on just general concepts within law enforcement on a regular basis. So we are currently 6 months behind minimum to get space over in Madison. Firearms ranges are hard to come by. We're spending over $12,000 a year just to rent out facilities, whether it's for firearms or just classroom or scenario rooms. Being that we're coming up on just basically one of the biggest cities in Dane County behind Madison, we need to have some place where we can train and also allow for other people within the region, Dane County, to use that facility if we're really going to promote competent and qualified law enforcement for the community.
You had to kind of go around Fitchburg, and you had to do a bit of a road show, didn't you, Chief? You had to kind of go around and tell people this is why that's important. And I'm just wondering, what were the most common questions or common concerns people had about a new police building? Or did you mostly hear, thank God, Chief, we're behind you, we get this done?
I can tell you that we started doing community meetings January of 2023. Some meetings, we went in every neighborhood we could within the city of Fitchburg. I am very happy to be well received here within the community. The support is there. What has been shocking when we tell them what we're staffed with for a city the size of 34 square miles, and the community here knowing how fast it's growing. And Fitchburg, the north end of Fitchburg, is fastly growing with multi-unit apartment complexes and big areas with condo associations. It's becoming dense on the north end. So when we explained the type of staffing that they have for this city, they're shocked to hear the numbers. And when we've walked through the police station, our current station, our area, that we walk them through, they're shocked to see what we have to work with. So we've been educating the community, and they have responded pretty well in support of it. What I'm noticing, the majority of the people that are against it are not really from the city of Fitchburg.
No kidding. Shocking. That's sarcasm, Chief.
Yeah, and I think that's where some of this Cop City nonsense comes that you're seeing, scattered around your community. A couple of things. One, I want you to say hi next time you see him to your fire chief out there, because I used to work with him in Oak Creek, Joe Pulvermacher. And got to ask you about what you miss about Milwaukee. You were here for a long time. What do you miss?
I'll start off with what I don't miss. I don't miss the politics, okay?
Yeah, I hear you.
And the crime, but I really miss the people. I grew up there, and I miss the people. I mean, there's so many stories of people. I mean, your Calderon Club, the Fazzari family. You have the Sobelman family, Dave. These are people that my family went to school with. And then you have the nice eateries on the south side, like Casa de Alberto, the Sandoval family. These are people that grew up. They didn't come up with money. They created some very good businesses. I grew up with them, and those are the people I miss. And seeing the struggles and the challenges that they have gone through with how Milwaukee has changed. So I miss them. I miss obviously the personnel that I work with in Milwaukee for 27 years. Those people I do miss, and it's hard to forget about that.
Professionally speaking, what did you take with you from your experience in Milwaukee to Fitchburg?
What I brought here is the how it was brought up over there is the team concept. There's a great staff here. What's nice when you leave a city like Milwaukee, you see a departments like Fitchburg that really have the time to think things through, work them through and come up with some nice plans. When you're working so fast and there's, kind of like a trauma center in the hospital, in any moment you got to triage something. Here, there's less triage and there's more well thought out plans. And the staff is very bright, younger than what I'm used to dealing with, but very bright. And there is a good future in law enforcement with the staff that we have.
The vote is Tuesday in Fitchburg?
Yes, it is. There will be a vote in the Common Council to discuss the schematic design and the budget for it.
And you have eight aldermen on your city council. We're gonna hope for an 8-0 vote, which is what it should be. But we know that the world is the world that we're living in, and that might not happen. But if promise me this as an old reporter, that if media are going to ever do stories about response times, if they're going to do stories criticizing the police department, this harken back to this day, people, when you voted on your police department.
Well, I'll just piggyback off of that, Annie. Look at any lawsuit that happens within law enforcement, consent decrees, I don't care how big or how small. Look at what occurred in N.O.W. When the after-action reports come out, one major component out of the after-actions is training. And we have a young department. We have young officers in our state and country. We really have to focus on that training piece.
Well said. Chief Al Morales from the city of Fitchburg. I appreciate you taking the time.
Thank you very much. Thank you for giving us this opportunity.
Absolutely.
And thank you, Chief. Good luck on Tuesday.
Thank you. God bless you.
God bless you. Chief Al Morales joining us on the Public Safety Hour. Annie Schwartz and I will wrap up the hour after this.
WTMJ Now.
Be our eyes on the road. See something out there that I should know about?
Hi there. I was trying to report a traffic accident for your traffic reporter, Debbie Lazica.
Call me, Debbie Lazica, at thehallmazda.com traffic tip line at 414-238-9329.
Hi, Debbie. It's Michael. Eastbound 894, and there's the fender bender, and these guys are blocking the right lane.
The drive affects you. Why not be part of it? Give me a call, 414-238-9329.
Hey, WTMJ's John Mercure here. If you've got water in your house, you need Guthrie and Fry. We've got their water softener. We get their salt delivery. We've got reverse osmosis that protects the water in our house. They've got the best people. They've got the best products. It's Guthrie and Fry. They treat their clients like their family. I feel that every time they're in our house, you need Guthrie and Fry. Fixed rental rates, convenient salt delivery programs. It's gfwater.com.
Better water makes a big difference. Guthrie and Fry.
For over a century, local broadcasting has evolved with the needs of the community. We move past the stigmas of opinion journalism and bring the most relevant news online, on air, and on the go. You have trusted us with your news, sports, weather, and entertainment. Trust us to keep moving with you. Text radio to 52886 and tell Congress local broadcasting is here to stay.
We've changed your tires and so much more. Richland's Tire and Service, such a refreshing change. Richland's.
Better days start with a better night's sleep on a mattress from Milwaukee Mattress and Ken Michaels Furniture. Handcrafted in Milwaukee, our mattresses are custom built to your needs. We have all the comfort and firmness options to give you your best night's rest. Buying direct from our factory showrooms will save you up to 50% compared to national brands. Shop today during our New Year's sale at Ken Michaels Furniture for over 75 years of uncompromising quality, local factory direct saving, and your best night's sleep. Start the new year right with Norwalk Furniture on sale now at Ken Michaels Furniture. Save 35% on showroom pieces that are ready for immediate delivery, or in just 35 days you can create a look that reflects your unique style with over 850 fabric and leather options and comfort levels, from cuddling to extra firm support. Norwalk Furniture's American roots go back over 102 years. For better quality American-made upholstery, shop the Norwalk Upholstery Sale at any Ken Michaels Furniture locations in Greenfield, Brookfield, or downtown.
WTMJ, W277CV, and WKTI HD2 Milwaukee from the Annex Wealth Management Studios. This is News Radio WTMJ, a Good Karma brand station. WTMJ Now.
Thanks to Chief Al Morales from the city of Fitchburg. Police department coming on. It was fun to talk to him. I saw him at an event recently.
That was a nice visit with him. I appreciated that he came on with us and had a conversation. And, whether it's Milwaukee or Fitchburg, the police chiefs are police chiefs, and they have their own set of problems, as my father used to say. Same dog, different fleas.
So we were talking earlier about New York, deciding maybe they're going to change their dress code to toughen it up, old school. We were talking about we weren't sure about firefighters, so a bunch of apparently firefighters weighed in. I got to read this one. That's correct. Firefighters can only have mustaches, which is why we look good in calendars. Great response there.
I like that
from a texter. It's a sad date today, and I don't want to get out of here in talking with you without remembering this date.
It is. It's a sad day for not just the Milwaukee Police Department, but for the city of Milwaukee and all those of us who are part of the law enforcement family and who love the law enforcement family. Today is 1 year since Milwaukee police officer Peter Jerving was shot and killed. He was 37 years old, shot and killed in the line of duty on February 7th during a struggle with an armed robbery suspect. And what a lot of people may not know is that though he was wounded, Police Officer Jerving was able to return fire and kill the suspect. And when we say hero, we're talking about police officers like Peter Jerving. So we're sending out so much love to our Blue family, as we call ourselves, to Patty Jerving, Peter's mother, who I know listens to this show, and people like Mary Kay Balchunas, who lost her son Jay in the line of duty. More than I think was at least 20 years ago, I believe. Who now those two women are bonded by something that they would have never wanted to be bonded by. So we're thinking about the Milwaukee Police Department today. Yesterday was the anniversary, if we can call it that, of the death of police officer Matt Rittner, my old police aide, my former police aide. And so when we post something on social media, when the Milwaukee Police Association posts on social media, we shall never forget, that's not just a hashtag. That's why we remember every year, every anniversary date, no matter how long ago, even back to the 1800s, to the 1860s, we'll get out there and we will remember those who gave the ultimate sacrifice for this community.
Well said. And I go back to something the chief said. One of the issues, it's not just a building, it's about training. And when you have young officers, young departments, that training can help them in situations like Officer Jerving had to deal with, and he ultimately took out that armed suspect.
He was a training officer that night, I believe. I think he was training a younger officer. So it's not. It's a bigger story than a new police station. It is how much do we care about our law enforcement, right? And we care deeply about our law enforcement, at least here in the studio and in the city. Brilliant hour, Annie Schwartz, law enforcement communications expert, subject matter expert, and I always appreciate your wisdom and the fact that you come in and share that with us. I'm grateful that we devote an hour to talking about public safety issues, and we would love to hear from anybody who's got an idea for a topic too. Absolutely. If they think there's something, hey, why don't they talk about this? Don't stop me in the Sendix and say, hey, why don't you guys talk about this? Send Steve a note there and say, listen, let's talk about this one. Never more important than right now. Annie, I'll see you next week. The news is next on WTMJ.
More of WTMJ now after this.
Vince Vitrano for Great Lakes Landscape. I take pride in my yard, and this spring, I plan to spend more time enjoying it with help from Great Lakes Landscape. The off-season is when you look ahead to a landscape maintenance package for 2024. Take feeding your lawn. You can spend just as much buying bags of fertilizer and applying it yourself. Why not get Southeast Wisconsin's premier installation and maintenance company to do it for you? They'll custom build a plan to beautify and maintain your yard, from mulch to shrubs to a lawn that's the envy of the neighborhood. It's Great Lakes Landscape, WI.com.
When it comes to remodeling, everyone has advice about who you should hire. But who can you trust? Your boss? Neighbors? Random online reviews? No. When it comes to remodeling, you can trust NARI. All NARI members are experienced, proven, qualified, and verified by local people who know the industry and have your back. Join us for the NARI Spring Home Improvement Show, February 16th through 18th at State Fair Park. Get discount tickets at NARIMilwaukee.org.
Get your rock-solid guaranteed pre-approval to buy at ACCUNET.com.
Keeping you informed, keeping you safe, keeping you engaged and entertained. We are Wisconsin's radio station. News Radio 620 WTMJ, Milwaukee.
10:01 A high of 47 degrees today with some filtered sunshine throughout the day. From the WTMJ Breaking News Center, I'm Eric Bilstead. Hey, quick WTMJ, Johnson & Sons paving time saver traffic. 43 northbound, you're going to see some heavy delays at times near Holt Avenue. They're heading north there toward the Marquette. We have an accident there, so the right lane, they have crews in the shoulder there. There is a car up and in the embankment there, again, near Holt and Chase Avenue in that stretch there, so be mindful of that. You are getting through it. There's another vehicle that is facing the wrong way, also off the lanes, but because of the work on both sides of the interstate there, you are going to see some slowdowns again, 43 northbound around Holt. Also seeing some heavy slowdowns, 94 again, eastbound near the stadium. Road work had been taking place there most of the week, so you're going to see some brake lights in that stretch, too. We'll get you an update on all the roadways and check back in on those two situations in just a couple of minutes. Republicans scrambling on Capitol Hill this morning after Wisconsin Congressman Mike Gallagher and a small handful of Republicans voted against a GOP plan to impeach Homeland Security Secretary Alejandro Mayorkas.
Overnight, an embarrassing defeat for Republicans. The House failing to impeach Homeland Security Secretary Alejandro Mayorkas over his handling of the border.
On this vote, the yeas are 214 and the nays are 216. The resolution is not adopted.
A handful of GOP lawmakers refusing to fall in line, saying the party provided no evidence of an impeachable offense.
ABC's Rachel Scott there. She says Republicans thought they had the votes on Tuesday, but then Democratic Texas Congressman Al Green showed up. He had just had surgery, came in his scrubs and on a wheelchair, and made one of the deciding votes. The Milwaukee Common Council will delay renewing contracts for private ambulance services in the wake of a woman's death at a bus stop in January, citing the opportunity those contracts present to ensure the policy changes are put in writing. Now, Curtis Ambulance and Bell Ambulance going to meet with Milwaukee Fire Department officials today as they discuss new protocol. Today marks 1 year since the death of Milwaukee police officer Peter Jerving. Died in the line of duty while attempting to arrest a robbery suspect. Peter's mother, Patty, tells TMJ4 News the family has received several gifts and letters over the last year from both close friends and strangers.
Peter loved Milwaukee, and over this past year, Milwaukee has shown how much they love Peter, and that's meant a lot.
Breaking overnight, 5 Marines on board a military helicopter missing after their chopper disappeared while flying from Nevada to San Diego. ABC's Alex Stone.
The search right now is focused on an area where the military last got a ping as a heavy lift Sikorsky CH-53E Super Stallion was flying. It's a rural area of the Cleveland National Forest in eastern San Diego County. Firefighters went there overnight. They did not find anything. The area has been socked in with bad weather and snow on the ground. It's been a struggle to get an air search underway because of the weather.
Back here at home, there is no end in sight for the devastating lack of snow in Wisconsin's Northwoods.
The quiet at snowmobile shops here is deafening.
So this winter has been the worst winter in memory.
John Moores owns Boat Sport Marina and Power Sports. In December, he bought $400,000 worth of snowmobiles, insured them all, and bought snow passes for each of them. They literally have not been rented at all.
Revenue isn't down, 10% or 20%. For us and our snowmobile rentals, it's down 100%.
He wishes the governor would declare a state of emergency and offer some help. In Eagle River, John Mercier, WTMJ News.
Time now for news about your money in the WTMJ Annex Wealth Management Market Update. Right now, the Dow is up 149 to 38,671. The NASDAQ is up 107 to 15,716. And the S&P is up 31 to 49.85. It's a great time for your retirement and investment strategy review from a fee-only fiduciary. Go to nxwealth.com and click the Get Started button now. Sports, traffic, and weather next. Siding Unlimited, WTMJ News Time, 10:05.
Traffic is brought to you by James Imaging Systems, your local document imaging partner. Visit jamesimaging.com.
There are many reasons to choose document imaging technology from James Imaging Systems. Chris McLean, co-owner of DBAT Brookfield, the baseball and softball training facility, had his reasons.
I think the biggest thing, the important things for me are effective communication and timely response.
James Imaging Systems, Kyocera, Kyocera copiers, Kyocera network printers, Kyocera color systems, and the James team that works with you to provide the business technology to help you thrive.
Honestly, Candy had a lot to do with it.
Candy, your James Imaging Systems sales representative.
Candy built great rapport with our general manager right out of the gate. It helps that they're a local business. We're a local business as well.
James Imaging Systems, effective communication and local responsiveness.
They're a partner. James Imaging is a partner, not a vendor.
Kyocera from James Imaging Systems. Call 262-781-7700 or visit jamesimaging.com. James Imaging Systems, your local business technology partner.
Hey, the playoffs are heating up, the big game is ahead, and you can play along for the remainder of the football season. Check out Underdog Fantasy. It's a pick'em game, and it's fast, simple, and fun. Pick between 2 or 5 players in a given game, select higher or lower on player stats, and if your picks hit, you can win up to 100 times your money in a single night. Yes, it's legal in Wisconsin, and yes, it's a blast to play. I had a great weekend mixing sports, a little bit of NBA, a little bit of football. Marry them together, there you go. I was a winner. You can be too at Underdog Fantasy. Download the Underdog Fantasy app or visit UnderdogFantasy.com and sign up. Use the promo code WTMJ, and Underdog's going to match your first deposit up to $100. That's Underdog Fantasy, promo code WTMJ to get your first deposit of $10 or more, up to $100, matched, plus a special pick that you cannot lose on. I'm playing every week. It's easy and fast, and you can join me. It's Underdog Fantasy, promo code WTMJ.
Time for a WTMJ Sports Update.
The Bucks are finally home again tomorrow night to face Minnesota after going 1-4 on the road, capped with another loss last night in Phoenix against the Suns, 114-106. Milwaukee played shorthanded with Damian Lillard out, Brook Lopez as well, and then Chris Middleton stepped on Kevin Durant's foot during the game and left the arena in a boot. College buckets, the Badgers lost at Nebraska, then again against Purdue on Sunday. Chance, though, to snap the 2-game skid tonight against last-placed Michigan in Ann Arbor. Tip-off is 6 p.m. for that Big Ten matchup. And the Packers get a new linebackers coach in Anthony Campanile. He held the same job in Miami but was replaced there with, wait for it, former Packers defensive coordinator Joe Barry. I'm Bob Brainerd, WTMJ Sports.
WTMJ, Johnson & Sons paving time saver traffic. A couple of trouble spots we're dealing with. One is 43 northbound. So this is right around Holt Avenue, Chase Avenue, and that stretch there. So the shoulders on both sides of the interstate are blocked. All the roadways are open. All the lanes are open, but we have one car up on the grassy embankment on the right-hand side facing the wrong way, so you're going to see that. We have another vehicle on the left shoulder also facing the wrong way. They got cars there, trucks there, too, trying to figure it all out to take care of it. But because of that, you got a lot of people driving slowly to make sure they don't cause any dangerous driving in that stretch, and because of it, it's slow. You'll get through it just fine, but it is going to ebb and flow there because you got the situation on both sides. Elsewhere, 94 eastbound, slow again, road work being done just east of the stadium, so getting into downtown will take you an extra minute or two. You'll see brake lights right around stadium time because of the road work being done.
Traffic is sponsored by TaybackAttorneys.com. Veterans benefits denied? Call Tayback for the payback. Brave Americans who served shouldn't be denied benefits or have a disability claim incorrectly evaluated by the VA. If you're one of those vets, call Tayback for the payback. TaybackAttorneys.com.
WTMJ 5-day forecast. Some fog this morning burning off, then filtered sunshine later on, a high of 47. Tonight, mild, a low of 39. For Thursday, breezy and mild, scattered showers are possible, maybe even some thunder tomorrow. The high is 54. Friday, breezy, a high of 52 with that temp falling later on in the day. By Saturday, high of 40 degrees. Sunday, partly cloudy, a high of 38. Right now in Milwaukee, 35. I'm Eric Bilstead, Siding Unlimited, WTMJ News Time, 10:10.
Live from the Annex Wealth Management Studios at the Avenue, it's WTMJ Now. News, opinions, Wisconsin. Everything you need to know in the Badger State and beyond. Here's your host, Steve Scaffidi.
Good morning, everybody. Welcome, Wisconsin. Welcome the rest of you, wherever you are. Thanks for tuning in on this Hump Day edition. Yes, Hump Day. I still say that. Has it gone out of fashion? I don't know. I don't care. Great first hour with Andy Schwartz and our special guest, former Milwaukee Police Chief Al Morales. I know city buildings, civic buildings are not popular. Who wants to pay a lot of money? Millions of dollars. But sometimes those expenses, that infrastructure is necessary. And one of my old police chief buddies sent me a great text. I didn't get to it during the hour. I just want to read. He says, regarding building police departments, take it out of the chief's hand and create a diverse future needs committee that can make an unbiased recommendation of the council. The chief is only an ad hoc member of the committee worked perfectly at Oak Creek, and was a very professional, credible group. I agree completely. And that's a smart way to look at a problem that a lot of communities face. There's budget challenges, right? Budgets are tighter. We have a frozen tax levy accepting growth in a community. If you're not a city that's growing, you have very, very tough budgets. And you have had tough budgets for the last, 11, 12 years. So that's a reality that we have to talk about. All right, speaking of reality, for new Speaker of the House, Mike Johnson, that was a cold, hard, figurative slap in the face yesterday. His Ukraine funding bill went down in flames. And what he was holding up as sort of the gold standard of we're not putting up with the Biden administration's mess at the border. His attempts, unsuccessful attempts, to toss out the Homeland Security chief, Mayorkas. For some reason, I always forget his first name. Alejandro Mayorkas. It went down in flames. Democrats and a few Republicans, one being, and this is sort of a stunner shocker, our own congressman from Wisconsin, Mike Gallagher. I've said this before. I think he's the smartest congressman we have in the state. I don't agree with him on everything. I was very disappointed in how strident and strong he was on January 6, 2021. And then he backpedaled and basically gave up all the goodwill that I think he established with a lot of Republican and Democratic voters with his comments on live television as the riots were happening in the U.S. Capitol building. That being said, I want to give him credit where credit's due. Congressman Gallagher joined 3 other Republicans and all the Democrats, every one of them, in rejecting the impeachment vote against Secretary Mayorkas. He said this, Congressman Mike Gallagher, Mayorkas has faithfully implemented President Biden's open border policies and helped create the dangerous crisis at the southern border. But the proponents of impeachment failed to make the argument as to how his stunning incompetence meets the impeachment threshold Republicans outlined while defending former President Donald Trump. Brilliant statement, perfect statement. Now, of course, in this crazy, you're not Republican, you're not conservative enough world we live in now, in Wisconsin and beyond, now suddenly he's a rhino. He's a lightweight. He's not a real Republican. This is the absurdity of all this. And I tweeted this out, moments ago on the X, formerly known as Twitter. And I believe it. And it's silly and stupid and dumb. Republicans in Wisconsin are quickly not Republican enough-ing themselves out of relevance. If you don't agree with the former president, you're tossed to the side of the road, which makes zero sense when the goal is to actually win elections. It might make you feel good to think you're right and everybody votes the way you want them to and it's unanimous and, all of the actual debates, willingness to understand complex issues in a nonpartisan way, that's just thrown out the window now. If you don't do what the former president tells you to do, then you are not a Republican. And smartly, yesterday, Congressman Mike Gallagher says, you know what? No. There has to be a standard. For this point alone, and I heard a lot of people making this point last night, and they're right. If the standard for impeachment is you're just mad about something, we're going to have impeachments every session of Congress, which in an era of Congress not doing enough real work means even less work. 855-616-1620, the WTMJ talk and text line. This stuff drives me nuts. It's sort of like when Justice Brian Hagedorn doesn't go along with the other conservatives on the court. Suddenly he's not a conservative. I know Justice Hagedorn. He's a strong conservative. He's actually very smart. He understands complex issues, which, and this is going to hurt some feelings out there, most voters don't. Most voters look at things on a very superficial, shallow level. They don't do their homework. They read stuff on the internet. Their crazy uncle from Germany or some other countries, all this weird conspiracy nonsense. And that becomes their mantra. They repeat it over and over again at their corner bar or their diner with their buddies sitting there. And suddenly that becomes accepted talking points. It's dumb. You should applaud Congressman Mike Gallagher for what he did yesterday because he stood up to nonsense. It doesn't mean, so listen carefully for all the naysayers, it doesn't mean that Joe Biden's doing the right thing on the border. He's not. He's made a mess, and Congress is supposed to pick up the pieces of that mess and fix it. But what they'd rather do is have phony impeachment trials, talk about a crisis but pass no legislation because it doesn't look good for the former president's campaign, and pretend they're actually still concerned about it. Those things are all true. So what are we going to do about it? We'll take a break here. You're listening, of course, to WTMJ Now.
More of WTMJ Now after this. Start planning for your retirement today so you enjoy retirement tomorrow. Saturday mornings at 11 and Sunday mornings at 7, where Tony Drake and his Education First team discuss retirement trends, taxes, inflation, and Social Security benefits to help you achieve a more secure financial future.
Join us this week as we take a look at the federal election and the impact it may have on your retirement.
Retirement Ready with Tony Drake on WTMJ.
Hey, this is WTMJ Steve Scaffidi for Universal Windows Direct. If you've been cold in your home, do not suffer through one more winter in a cold and drafty house. Call my guys at Universal Windows Direct. Super Spacer Technology. Super Spacer Technology helps keeps the edge of the glass warmer, holds the window seal longer, and makes the windows last up to 5 times longer than other window systems. That's the technology part of this story, right? So your windows from Universal perform better and last longer. For the last windows you will ever need, go to universalwindowsdirect.com. Universalwindowsdirect.com. Like me, you'll be saying, I love my windows.
Hey, WTMJ's John Mercure here. When I grab a hot dog, I make sure it's a Vienna beef hot dog, the official hot dog of the Milwaukee Brewers and the best hot dog in the business. It's the biggest week in football. Make sure you stock up at your local grocer with Vienna beef hot dogs. Manufactured since 1893, they are the real deal. Available at select grocers and hot dog stands in the Milwaukee area. It's football week. It's Vienna beef week. It's Vienna beef hot dogs, the only thing you need at your tailgate. John Mercure, Vienna beef. It's my hot dog.
Finding the special healthcare resources families need just got easier. Wisconsin Wayfinder Children's Resource Network helps kids with delays, disabilities, special healthcare needs, and mental health conditions. Call toll-free 877-947-2929. Ask questions. Get answers. Connect today toll-free 877-947-2929. Sponsored by the Wisconsin Department of Health Services.
Is it time to give your home a new look?
Absolutely.
Get personal care from Adair. Adair Floors and Remodeling has a design team ready to help with all flooring and remodeling needs, including tub to shower conversions. Want to create your dream kitchen, including cabinets? How about the rec room? Adair Floors and Remodeling has been family run in Franklin for over 65 years. For floors and all home remodeling needs, get personal care from Adair. Adair Floors and Remodeling, South 27th Street in Franklin, and online at adairfloors.com.
It's WTMJ Now.
Congressman Mike Gallagher from the state of Wisconsin says, you know what? The standard's too low. I don't want to get in this revolving door of impeachment after impeachment because you don't like someone not doing their job. Here's the thing about politics, everybody. It's filled with people not doing their jobs at every level. It's more, especially at the national level. This is not breaking news, but maybe it needs to be pointed out more often than some of the talking heads that we currently have entertaining us. And they are entertainers, by the way. Most of them haven't had real jobs outside of being a broadcaster. Not that that's not a real job. It's just life experience matters for perspective on things that are important, especially government. My 2 cents. Actually, my $1 is worth more than 2 cents. So when you think about this issue from a facts-based perspective, which is how I look at things, we have a problem at the border. We have people crossing, don't even know who they are. We don't know where they're going. They're bringing illegal drugs in the country, human trafficking, all the things that are dangerous to a country like ours. So reasonable, logical elected representatives would say, let's work together. Let's craft a solution. Let's do something about this. Now, this problem has persisted for decades because on both sides of the aisle, from Nancy Pelosi to Ron Johnson, they've all shifted their positions. You know, they call it a crisis, but they don't want legislation because it makes the job harder, the campaign job harder for former President Donald Trump. All of that stuff's true. But anybody who wasn't looking at it from a political perspective would say, okay, so we have a crisis, right? Problem at the border. Let's do something. Let's pass some legislation that makes it harder, tougher for people to come into our country illegally. Most Americans support that. Democrat, Republican, Independent, whatever you are, which is sort of an interesting development, right? Because liberals and Democrats generally weren't in favor of policing that border until recently. Then they realized, hey, this might be a political problem. We got to do something about it. So we had an effort by Republicans in the Senate and some members of the House previously to fix the problem, pass legislation, work across the aisle to craft things. And I was going to read all the tenets of the H.R. 2 bill last year that never went anywhere past the House. But it crafted real meaningful changes. The Senate bill, haven't read the whole thing, trying to find real things we can do to improve life at the border, stop the flow of all the things I just talked about. More money for resources, hard resources, infrastructure, more money for Border Patrol, technology, toughening the rules, sending people back that don't belong here. All those things make sense. But now because of politics, somebody said, why are you so tough on Republicans? I'm tough on everybody. I just said Joe Biden has messed the bed at the border. That's not going easy on Joe Biden. It's a train wreck. It's a mess. That's why we saw for the first time some actual progress on legislation until one thing happened. The former president of the United States says, you know what? That's not going to help me run for president. And one by one, even including people that actually worked on this legislation, this proposal, said, yeah, just kidding. We're not going to do it. Let the next president do it. And to my Republican friends, so if the next president is Joe Biden 2.0, how's that fixing things? How's that going to get us anywhere closer to some real important legislation to stop the flow of illegals into this country? It makes no sense. So I got a lot of commentary from people on the text line about Representative Gallagher. I'll just sample a few. Representative Gallagher did a good thing yesterday in voting not to impeach. He's one of the few real Republicans left in Congress. Hopefully the Republican Party can be rebuilt on politicians like him. Another one from the 9-2. I'm so proud of Representative Gallagher for doing the right thing this time. He has my vote. Mad props to Congressman Gallagher. All the rest of Wisconsin's congressmen deserve a come on man. And I had Congressman Tom Tiffany on yesterday. And he voted for the impeachment of Secretary Mayorkas. I didn't agree with it then, and I don't agree with that now. It's become a politically expedient thing to do when you don't like something, instead of actually focusing on the work, which is something, hopefully, American voters will understand at some point. Because there's far too many voters here in Wisconsin and in the rest of the country who like all the TV stuff, the own the other side stuff, the politics played as a sport. It's just dumb. Peter joins us from Waupaca, one of my favorite places in the state. Hey, Peter.
Hey, how you doing?
Good. What do you think?
My question is, why do 2/3 of the Republican Party let 1/3 of the party control their politics? 2/3 of the Republicans don't vote in primaries. They leave it up to the crazy 1/3 to control everything. What's up with that?
Great question, Peter. I'll let you hang up and listen to the answer. It's laziness. Can't be bothered to go vote in a primary. Can't be bothered to actually do your homework on this stuff. Instead, what do we see? And this is not going to go over well, so prepare yourself. People camp out in their comfortable chairs, watching hours and hours of entertainment television talking about politics, which is what it is now. It's not real politics. not real fact-based review of issues. It's entertainment. Happens on radio, too, all the time. Very popular radio shows talk about politics as entertainment, with the backdrops of American flags and jets flying over, and all great things. Love the flag, love the jets. Not really what we're supposed to be doing here. There's work to be done. And when you spend all your time, this is to the elected officials, when you spend all your time focused on being on TV and radio shows and arguing about politics wherever and not actually passing legislation to fix things, why do we have a Congress? So these people can become rich and famous? Most of them aren't worth the time of day listening to them, watching them. They're not that interesting of people, yet they want to be famous and they want to be rich. And you know who's paying that dime? We are. Quick break.
More of WTMJ Now after this.
Creative Planning presents Rethink Your Money with John Hagenson, Saturday afternoon at 1. At Creative Planning, our advisors will build a financial plan that's custom tailored for you. It will include your investments, insurance, estate plan, taxes, and other personalized elements. Let Creative Planning show you a richer way to wealth. Visit creativeplanning.com. That's creativeplanning.com.
This February, elevate your driving experience with Griffin Service Department, where precision meets passion. Hello, valued customers. This is Jim Griffin, and I'm thrilled to share with you an exceptional opportunity this month. Love is not only in the air, but it's also in our exclusive Valentine's Special. For just $179.95, our Valentine's Special includes oil change, tire rotation, air filter, and wiper blade replacement. But that's not all. Your car will undergo meticulous multi-point inspection, ensuring every aspect of your car is in optimal condition. Plus, we'll check the battery and heating system, guaranteeing your vehicle is prepared for the road ahead. This incredible offer is available at all 5 Griffin Service Departments. Whether you're on the north, south, or west side of town, Griffin Service Departments are ready to cater to your needs. Visit Griffin today for detailed information and restrictions. Griffin Service Department, setting the standard in automotive excellence, because your car deserves nothing but the best. Discover true automotive love at Griffin, your trusted partner on the road.
The next time they ask you what size tires you need, just go to richlawns.com.
That's Richlawns spelled with 2 N's.
No more trying to read that tiny writing on the side of your old tires or on the inside of your car door.
Just go to richlawns.com, click on the year button, then the make and model of your vehicle, and
the exact tire size you need.
In a multitude of brands and styles.
Yet all specific to your vehicle, because at Richlawns, there isn't a tire on the planet we can't get.
And every tire we install automatically comes with free flat tire repair, which means you're 100% covered, no questions asked.
The next time you're due for tire service, visit richlawns.com.
Because free flat tire repair automatically comes with every tire we install.
I'm Brett Matchke with Richlawns. You're due for service.
Since 1964, we've changed your tires and so much more. Richlawns Tire and Service, such a refreshing change. Richlawns.
WTMJ Now.
Congressman Mike Gallagher stood up to his fellow Republicans. Who else is going to be that brave? Not many. I think there's only 3 other people that joined him, or he was one of 3 or 4. Dennis from Pewaukee joins the conversation. Good morning, Dennis.
Well, good morning. Thanks for taking my call today, Steve. I appreciate that.
Absolutely. What do you think?
Well, first of all, I got to say, I'm not calling to carry water for Trump by any stretch of the imagination, okay?
Mm-hmm. You can if you want to. You're all welcome.
Well, I have voted for him in the past. I'll admit that. I would not vote for him now. As a matter of fact, I wish Nikki Haley would get the nomination. But aside from all of that, okay, I think Trump muddies the waters and makes it virtually impossible for people to have an intelligent conversation about things that matter. And this is one thing that matters, okay? Now, where I want to disagree with you on what you're saying with regards to the bill that's going through, or trying to go through for the border.
The Senate bill, yeah.
A lot of what you said is true with regards to the things that are in it that would be good for closing down the border. All the extra stuff, in terms of resources and what have you. But the one thing that's a sticking point in my mind is the fact that it's not closing the border. It's allowing up to 5,000 people a day.
Correct.
To be able to come through and then finally close the doors. That's not closing the border. Now, the President administration is saying, well, we can't do it without this bill. Okay? And the reality is, like you said, he messed the bed by blowing up a number of the things that the previous administration had done to at least slow, the number of people coming through at the border. Okay, by using the laws that were on the books and through executive orders. Okay.
Yeah, also true.
Once you codify something, as in the bill that's being proposed, it becomes virtually impossible to get rid of that bill. That's why they're not, destroying the bills that already exist. They're trying to put a Band-Aid on a hemorrhage here with the one that they're proposing, and it's not going to fix it at all. And once you have that as a law, then forget about trying to close the border, because now all of a sudden, hey, we could get 5,000 people in here any day we want. And that's not going to change.
Let me play devil's advocate. Would you rather have 5,000 to start or 20,000? Because some days we have 20,000.
I want them to do what you said they should do. They should do their job and close the border. Write a bill. Be brave enough to do your job and write a bill that actually matters, that closes the border, if they want to write a bill. In reality, I think they actually should just use the laws that are on the books and, again, go back to using executive orders if they need to get the rest of the job done. Well, that was starting to work.
Let's look at what the House did, and this is a separate bill. They passed it in May of last year. It's called H.R. 2. It had like 100 and some different qualifiers to stop the flow of illegals across the border. They passed it. It had no chance of going anywhere. So we can go back and forth. That was a very conservative plan. Whatever the Senate version was a combination of Democrats and Republicans trying to craft something. The way, at least in my opinion, the way government works, the best it can work is if you're at least both sides are part of the process. Because what we have now, and this is sort of a speech, and I thank you for your call, Dennis. What we have now is a mess because we have both sides saying basically, ignore the other side, we're going to do what we want. I've argued about this for 7 years on the radio. This is what all the nonsense has led to. This is why we're going to have impeach-o-rama for the near future. Where you don't like something, impeach him. Get him out of there. Happened with Trump. Now it's happening again with, this case, Secretary Mayorkas. That's not how you govern in a sane, reasonable, rational world. Mike Johnson, who I trust as far as I can look, which is about 20 feet. This guy seems like he's really in charge of things. But on the two most important votes of his short tenure, failed miserably. He wasn't even able to count the votes. He doesn't answer the questions. He lies, which, as somebody who's very religious, apparently, he lies when it comes to political matters. He says things that are not true. How does that reconcile with his faith? I'm just curious, because I've raised this point before. With Democrats and Republicans. You want to be a person of faith, you don't get to lie about politics. Many people have accepted that reality. I don't. And I'm done with this smirkiness, and it's God's will. Was it God's will that Secretary Mayorkas didn't get impeached yesterday? Answer that damn question. Faith in governments, in the countries that allow faith to control their government, are a train wreck. Listen carefully. Doesn't mean faith's not important. I'm a person of faith. I believe in God. But when you let that be your sole determinant of how you do your damn job, you are in a world of hurt, my friend, and he's learning that now. He may not even be the speaker in a few weeks. So wipe the smile off your damn face, start living in the real world with the rest of us, and stop pretending it's 1950. Quick break.
More of WTMJ now after this.
At Fisher Investments, we may seem like other money managers, but we're different.
Are you really that different than the rest of us?
We are. As a fiduciary, we always focus on what's best for our clients.
What services do you offer besides investing?
We have a team of specialists in financial planning, estate planning, and more.
Your clients rely on you for all that?
Yes, we ensure clients receive unparalleled service at every step of the relationship.
Okay, but you still sell commission-based products, right?
No, because we believe that's a conflict of interest. We prioritize service over sales goals.
So, then how do your fees work?
We have a simple and transparent fee that's a percentage of our clients' portfolios. So we do better when our clients do better.
Wow, we're more different than I thought.
At Fisher Investments, we're clearly different. Learn more at fisherinvestments.com.
Investing in securities involves the risk of loss.
Hey, WTMJ's John Mercure here. Transform your bathroom like we did. It's Sidex, S-I-D-E-X, Sidex. Take out that conventional bathtub, put in a walk-in shower. That's what we did at our house. It's beautiful. It's open. It's transformed our bathroom. And right now with Sidex, you get $750 off any bathtub or shower replacement. They serve within 60 miles of Milwaukee. It's Sidex. They did the work at our house. It was quick. It was affordable. It was efficient. And our bathroom is beautiful. Go with the company we trust, Sidex. Free shower door upgrade when you mention WTMJ or John Mercure.
St. Vincent de Paul, Milwaukee has expanded into our new 76th and Bradley Road location, where thrifters will find hundreds of bargains on everything, from clothing to furniture, electronics, home goods, and more. Our inventory is always changing, and new deals pop up every day. We're accepting donations too at our convenient drive-through donation area. Help us help others. St. Vincent de Paul at 76th and Bradley Road in Milwaukee is now open.
Ooh, you're gonna love it, St. Vincent de Paul.
It's WTMJ Now.
Few people think I'm too hard on Speaker Mike Johnson. You know what? The guy walks around with this umbrella of faith, pretending that's going to be the answer to all the problems that we are facing in this country. It's certainly a help, but it's not the only thing to consider. And he hasn't realized that. He's saying what happened yesterday is a mess, what happened here in the House. You lead the House, last time I checked. You're the Speaker. You're unqualified for the position, but after, everybody else was not acceptable, they chose you, of all people. And you don't answer questions. You're smirking all the time like you have the answer to everything when you can't even figure out basically how to count your votes. Enough of the nonsense. And if I hear one more person say 5,000 is too much, here's how Congress works. The Senate allowed for 5,000. It has to be reconciled with the House. You think they're going to accept 5,000? It's a number. It's a starting point. It's a compromise position. One House doesn't get to decide. Both Senate and House make the rules. This stuff drives me nuts. It should drive you nuts, too. Sam from McHenry, welcome to the show, Sam. Happy Wednesday.
How you doing, Steve? Okay, 5,000. I don't give a rat's about 5,000. It should be nobody. Have you ever been to Ellis Island, Steve?
I have never been to Ellis Island.
I think everybody should take a trip there. It'd be a great learning experience. That southern border needs an Ellis Island. It's needed one for a long time.
I don't disagree with you, Sam.
We don't want to build one.
I don't disagree.
Congress they want people coming through there. That's why they're throwing the 5,000 number around. 5,000 is better than 20,000 or 100,000. There should be nobody coming across that border unless we know who they are.
When you say nobody, now, you mean illegal, not legal people coming across the border. Right?
Illegal,
yeah.
Exactly.
Okay.
You come through legal channels. If you don't want to do that, you don't belong in the country, period. And if we find you here, we're going to deport you or we're going to put you in jail. We're not going to make it an attractive thing to break our border and get in here illegally. That's how you stop this problem.
Here's what drives me nuts. Here's what drives me nuts, Sam. And I'm just going to throw it at you because you're on the phone. Look, this thing's been out of control for decades. There's been no rules. Both sides kind of going back and forth on this. Trump tried to do something. He got shot down. Even when he had control of Congress, he didn't get it all done. Everybody's tried something. Democrats have been lazy on this since the Biden administration came in office. For the first time in a long time, Sam, there's actually a growing number of Americans of both main parties, Democrat and Republican, who say, you know what? We need tougher restrictions on the border. That's the first time that's happened in as long as I can remember. And even that motivation hasn't pushed our representatives in Congress to take it seriously.
You know why that's happening, Steve? It's happening because we've wanted it for a long time. Trump came along and did the Remain in Mexico. He started building the wall, and he started ramping up deportations. That was starting to slow the whole thing down to a snail's crawl. Because of everything you're always talking about, Steve, Congress doesn't want to act. Because Congress is being pulled on all different ends by all their donors to leave that border open. Okay? So Trump comes along and says, fine, Congress, if you don't want to act, I'm going to act. I'm going to use the powers that I have in my hand to slow that mess down. Now, Biden comes along. He reverses everything that Trump did. Now we are just being – it's just so out of control. It's not even funny. Look at the crime. Look at the drugs. Look at what's going on. You got gangs coming across now. MS-13, Trump was kicking them all out. Okay? So now the public can look at Joe Biden and say, this is one extreme, Trump was the other. Congress is now, all of a sudden they're interested in it because they know, okay, we need to get something done here because the public is responding to what Donald Trump did that was actually working. Joe Biden has just torn that whole border apart. Anybody and everybody's coming across. We don't know what's going to happen in a week from now, in a month from now, and 5 months from now. Something horrific could happen because of that.
Given all that,
all of a sudden, everybody wants something done, and it's coming down to 5,000 people. That's still not good enough for me, Steve. I'm sorry. There should be nobody a day unless you're coming in legally.
Given all that, what makes you think that if we reject this legislation, whatever this might end up looking like, and probably nothing because I don't think you're going to do anything, what time in the future are we ever going to get back to where we're going to have a real solution here? Like, why are you optimistic
Steve,
about that?
if you pass legislation that allows people to come in and makes a bunch of lawyers rich representing them in the District of Columbia, I mean, go through the bill. This is not about stopping people getting into this country. This is just a big money-making scheme for everybody who has direct connections with somebody in Congress. That's all this bill is. And there's just window dressing. They're trying to make it look like they're doing something because they know the public wants something done because they saw what Trump did and they're seeing what Biden's doing. And now they want action because now they understand that this is a real danger to this country.
All right, got to leave it there, Sam. Got to leave it there. Love the passion. Love the passion, buddy. Thanks. Sam's always passionate. I love the fact that he listens and cares about this issue so much. Look, we'll continue because I got a lot of calls, lots of texts. What I'm trying to say here is, and this is again a bigger statement than maybe a lot of people are focused on. This is an opportunity, a moment when you actually have a public that says, you know what? Even Democrats, even liberals, we got to do something. This is a little insane what's happening. It's a mess down there. We're destroying, and maybe it took a figurative cold hard slap across the face when some of the southern governors started shipping the folks up to Chicago and Washington, D.C. and New York City so they could experience what the folks in the Southwest were experiencing. Maybe that was the figurative slap. I don't know. But for the first time in a long time, we have a growing feeling in this country that, to Sam's point about Ellis Island, there's a process. My grandparents followed it. Nothing wrong with that process. Worked well for generations. But yet when it's that border with Mexico, no rules. And that's not right. Do I have all the answers? No. I have both the H.R. 2 bill from the House last year and the Senate proposal, what I know of it, on my screen here. There's hundreds of pieces to this thing, of each piece of legislation. I'm not going to sit here and read them all. It's a first step. And if we throw this first step out because a former president doesn't want the current guy to look good for doing something on immigration, then why have Congress? As we saw yesterday, it's a puppet show. It's nonsense. I started this talking about Congressman Gallagher. I applaud him. Some of the texters and callers want to get in, and we'll do that after this on WTMJ Now.
WTMJ Now.
I couldn't even bend over, but now after stem cell treatment, I can deadlift a house.
Now, this is an exaggeration, but I do hear about unbelievable miracle outcomes, and I have to ask, do you really believe them? If they were true, these biological treatments wouldn't even have to be advertised. Truth is, stem cell effectiveness is nowhere near 100%. It's expensive, and it doesn't last. At Rejuvenex, our FDA-approved pharmacological treatments ease inflammation and reduce pain. They're precisely administered to where your pain lives, and they work. Will the pain reduction last forever? No. But in some cases, relief has lasted as long as 24 months, and in most cases, insurance has paid for the treatments entirely. This is Richard Salinas, registered nurse with Rejuvenex Arthritis Clinics, where we can alleviate your pain and rejuvenate your life.
Alleviate your pain, rejuvenate your life.
Go to rejuvenex.com to request your appointment.
Our mission is to protect and uphold our reputation. At Semper Fi, it's the banner we all march under, because the reputation we earn and uphold belongs to all of us. And without a strong reputation in the exterior remodeling business, you're here today and gone tomorrow. And when you've earned a good reputation, that's what makes the difference in value. It's the little extra that you get for the price. And that assurance is actually what counts the most, because it means the good money you're spending with us is not going to go to waste. A roof you can rely on, with a warranty that has a backbone. Craftsman quality airtight window and door installations. Brick and stone masonry that's clean and sharp. And new siding that's been known to stop traffic. And it's all backed by a team that over the last 20 years have put a lot of heart and soul into building a reputation that you can believe in. This is Brad Youngbluth with Semper Fi Roofing and Exteriors, your local, veteran-owned and operated exterior remodeling company.
We keep you safe, warm, and dry. Semper Fi.
Annex Wealth Management, investment, retirement, tax, and estate planning from a fee-only fiduciary. Forget commission sales pitches and financial products you don't need. Know the difference. Annex provides elite, comprehensive financial planning, customized to who you are and what you need. AnnexWealth.com.
I had a really strange experience today.
Strange how?
A man walked into the store who was only about 2.5 feet tall.
What?
And he was carrying a bow and arrows.
Did he sort of have a baby face?
Yes. How did you know?
Sarah, that was Cupid.
Oh!
Did he give us a thumbs up?
Yes, 3 times.
So tell us, what are the Cupid-approved gifts for Valentine's 2024?
He loved our diamond stud earrings starting at $198.
We have 186 different styles and sizes.
And we have more than 1,400 pair in stock.
And Cupid loved our $98 diamond pendant.
It looks like it's worth a lot more.
And every purchase of $298 or more includes a fabulous free travel case to safely transport all of your jewelry.
But mostly, he loved the 4-carat total weight wow diamond engagement ring for less than $4,000.
Welcome to Kessler's for Valentine's Day.
Cupid approved.
Find the Kesslers nearest you at KesslersDiamonds.com.
WTMJ Now.
One of the issues with talking about things like immigration, actually a lot of complex governmental issues that they're complex. They're not easy to digest. I'm looking at the H.R. 2 bill that the House passed last year. I mean, there's hundreds of pieces to this. The Senate proposes hundreds of different pieces, elements of what is supposed to be a bipartisan compromise on the border. Too much of our policy is now shaped by candidates and elected officials. So that taints the policy, which means more often than not in Congress, nothing gets done. Whatever you think about, there's a couple callers that want to argue about the term illegal. I'll have the conversation. It's like, that's not the point. We have this fascination with the words we use now. Changing words because you don't like, hungry is a bad word now. What is it? Food challenge or whatever it is. I mean, it's like, it's stupid. It's dumb. But yet we're doing it. There's nothing wrong with the word hungry. It describes the situation pretty well, I think. But you can't say that. And whatever you call people who are coming into the country illegally, migrants, undocumented, illegal, I don't care. There needs to be an orderly process. And the reason we don't have an orderly process is because for decades, our elected officials have played games with this issue. And now because of the politicization of the world we live in, regular folks like you and I watch their shows, listen to their radio programs, and they're spouting the same talking points that the elected officials and candidates use. And this endless churn of nonsense continues day after day after day, year after year, decade after decade, and we have the problem still today. This idea that some people have that my side, whatever that side is going to get everything they want in legislation is stupid. That's not how government works. That's how dictators work. That's how dictator-led regimes work, where the citizens have really no power. One person often dictates everything. Vladimir Putin, for example. Is that what we're cheering for here? Because I see more and more people applauding Tucker Carlson for getting an interview with Vladimir Putin, who is a war criminal. Doesn't mean you can't talk to him, but don't pat him on the back, I guess is my take. I got to take another break here. I got a few calls on the line. I got lots of texts. I'll do the best I can to get those in. And if you want to continue the conversation, ask Steve anything in the 11 o'clock hour today, so we'll have plenty of opportunity for all of that. Listening to WTMJ Now.
More of WTMJ Now after this.
Oh, I'm already running late. Let's go.
There is a backup on I-94 eastbound.
Wait, is that Debbie Loziga?
Expect delays.
Well, how bad is it?
Alternate routes will help you in your journey.
I feel better.
Get where you need to go calmly with traffic reporter Debbie Loziga, only on News Radio WTMJ.
Follow me on social.
There are many reasons to choose document imaging technology from James Imaging Systems. Chris McLean, co-owner of DBAT Brookfield, the baseball and softball training facility, had his reasons.
I think the biggest thing, the important things for me are effective communication and timely response.
James Imaging Systems, Kyocera copiers, Kyocera network printers, Kyocera color systems, and the James team that works with you to provide the business technology to help you thrive.
Honestly, Candy had a lot to do with it.
Candy, your James Imaging Systems sales representative.
Candy built great rapport with our general manager right out of the gate. It helps that they're a local business. We're a local business as well.
James Imaging Systems, effective communication and local responsiveness.
They're a partner. James Imaging is a partner, not a vendor.
Kyocera from James Imaging Systems. Call 262-781-7700 or visit jamesimaging.com. James Imaging Systems, your local business technology partner.
Hey, if you're sick and tired of those achy joints and dread the idea of surgery, it is time to call QC Kinetics. Hey, it's WTMJ's Greg Matzik. The state of healthcare is always evolving. The old ideas like steroids and surgery are no longer your only options. Try regenerative medicine at QC Kinetics. It's transforming lives with innovative, non-surgical, and drug-free treatments that deliver lasting results. Talking about knee pain, back pain, shoulder pain, pain from arthritis or injury. Don't let the pain keep you from living your best life. Call QC Kinetics. Their advanced and state-of-the-art treatments harness and direct your body's natural ability to restore and repair damaged joint tissue. It's a revolutionary approach that will help you achieve long-term relief with no downtime. So make 2024 the year you reclaim your mobility, your independence. Get out, walk, run, and play and live without the danger and trauma of surgery and without harmful drugs. Call QC Kinetics for a free consultation. 414-285-3474. QC Kinetics, 414-285-3474.
WTMJ, W277CV, and WKTI HD2 Milwaukee from the Annex Wealth Management Studios. This is News Radio WTMJ, a Good Karma brand station. WTMJ Now.
I probably got in the last half hour 300 texts, so I'm not going to read all of these things. This one from the 262. It's obvious that you always attack the process and never declare a principle and a solution. All right, so here, let me give you some talking points from me, not from any political party, but from me. More Border Patrol. Tougher physical barriers. That's a start. Quicker processing of people that are legal who want to come into this country, following a well-defined criteria for who can and who can't enter the country, redefine the asylum process to figure out what it is. And finally, this is the controversial part. What do you do with those people in the country already? If they have a job, if they have children who are born here, if they are raising their family, earning a living, in some cases paying taxes, find a path to citizenship. If they are not doing that, if they're living lives of crime, selling drugs, for example, are not contributing to our society, they have to go back. Those are not like breaking news suggestions. That's common sense border policy. But we don't have common sense because the issue is politicized. We want to spend, I had callers and texters who want to play around with the name. What do we call them? Why do you care about that? Why is that your thing you want to hang your hat on? That argument means we don't get to the real nuts, which is fixing the problem of undocumented, illegal, whatever term you want to use, migrants, people coming to this country. There needs to be a well-defined process, and both Democrats and Republicans need to follow that. We're not going to get that. Because in the ultimate example of pure politics, pure hyperpartisanship, the H.R. 2 bill presented by conservatives in the House, the Senate bill put forth by Democrats and Republicans, is not going to go anywhere. So for one more year, at least, we're not going to solve this problem. We're going to argue about it, talk about it, fight about it, play games with words, because that's what we always do on these things. From the 414, people are not against this because of Trump, Steve. We're against it because of what the bill says, because it does not do enough to address the problem. I've addressed this. It's a starting point. What's the famous saying? Don't let perfect be the enemy of good. We have nothing now. We have a mess at the border. So you're holding out for some perfect bill? Not going to happen. When was the last time you ever said, when you read a press release or read a bill or legislation put forward by Congress, and said, my God, that's perfectly well done. Nice job, all of our elected representatives. More often than not, you probably said the opposite. What is this sudden pie-in-the-sky belief that they're going to figure it out? They don't do that. Their sole interest is getting reelected, raising money, and finding someone they can all look up to as their leader. And the leaders we're being presented with are two 80-year-old-ish white guys who are about as real as a clown. And I don't like clowns, so you know where I'm coming from on that. We'll take a break here. After the break, a full hour of Ask Steve Anything. We're just getting warmed up. Join us. News is next.
More of WTMJ now after this.
AccuNet Mortgage is an equal housing lender. NMLS ID 255368.
Steve and Ashley heard our radio ads over the years, and when it came time to buy their first home, clicked on the blue button. One of our senior loan consultants, Brad, sent them a credit-verified pre-approval the same day and then upgraded to a rock-solid, fully verified and guaranteed pre-approval shortly thereafter. They made a couple offers without success, and then Brad told them about AccuNet's new property-specific pre-approval, where we might be able to include those magic words, no appraisal required. When they wrote their next offer, several $1,000s over asking to make sure someone else didn't end up sleeping in their dream home, their property-specific rock-solid guaranteed pre-approval included that most powerful phrase, no appraisal required, and the sellers picked Steve and Ashley's offer over several others. If you think all mortgage lenders and pre-approvals are the same, think again. Go with a local mortgage lender that has the tools and know-how to help you win and save money, too. Click on the blue button today at accunet.com.
Keeping you informed, keeping you safe, keeping you engaged and entertained. We are Wisconsin's radio station. News Radio 620 WTMJ, Milwaukee.
At 11 o'clock, filtered sunshine coming later today and a high of 47. From the WTMJ Breaking News Center, I'm Eric Bilstad. Shocking votes on Capitol Hill. These won Tuesday night. House Minority Leader Hakeem Jeffries now telling reporters the failed Republican-led vote to impeach Secretary of Homeland Security Alejandro Mayorkas was a waste of Congress's time. It did fail Tuesday night, in part because of a vote by Wisconsin Congressman Mike Gallagher. Gallagher voted against the idea of impeaching Mayorkas.
The House's top Democrat, Hakeem Jeffries, taking a victory lap on Republicans' failed vote Tuesday to impeach Homeland Security Secretary Alejandro Mayorkas.
When Republicans choose a my way or the highway approach, as was the case in wasting time, on the Mayorkas impeachment, they crash and burn.
The vote going down in spectacular fashion when 3 Republicans voted no and an absent Democrat, Al Green of Texas, showed up at the last minute. Republicans will now try another vote in the future. Jay O'Brien, ABC News, Washington.
The Milwaukee Common Council wants to delay renewing any contracts with private ambulance services. This following the wake of a woman's death at a bus stop in January. Called 911 and she was not found. It's citing the opportunity for those contracts to ensure that policy changes are put in writing. Curtis Ambulance and Bell Ambulance going to meet in a closed-door meeting today with Milwaukee Fire Department officials to review protocol. They'll do so this morning. No class at Nathan Hale High School today because of a water main break. School cancels for the day. The district implementing procedures to get those students home. Businesses in the Fox Valley concerned with Wisconsin's mild winter, and it will likely put a damper on sturgeon spearing season, which is to open in just days.
There is ice on Lake Winnebago, just not much.
Unfortunately, the ice is not very good.
Ann and Todd Cross own Wentz on the Lake, just north of Fond du Lac. They think people will still be around for opening weekend.
As for spears, it'll be the diehards, the people who maybe know the lake a little better. I know the majority of people coming in right now are saying we're not going out there.
By the way, lots of rumors floating around that the family-owned fixture for more than 60 years is closing. Not true.
God has a plan, and we're staying in business.
Vince Vitrano, WTMJ News.
We're following some breaking news out west. The U.S. military is searching for a Super Stallion helicopter. It says was reported overdue to a Marine Corps air station near San Diego. It was supposed to arrive overnight. It did not do so. 5 Marines were said to be on board. The military now searching along with San Diego County Sheriff's officials. ABC's Luis Martinez.
There were 5 Marines that were aboard this helicopter when it disappeared, and the concern is that they want to find these Marines. So this is why it is a search and rescue operation, and is being conducted by the Marines as well as with those local authorities.
Been some bad weather in Southern California. It's possible that may have led to an effect, also have an effect on the search and rescue. Time now for news about your money in the WTMJ Annex Wealth Management Market Update. Right now, the Dow is up 160 to 38,681. The Nasdaq is up 129 to 15,738, and the S&P is up 37 to 49.91. Annex Comprehensive Wealth, Annex Private Client, Annex Ignite Financial Planning at every level. Details at annexwealth.com. Sports, traffic, and weather next. Siding Unlimited. WTMJ News Time 11:03.
This report sponsored by the Freighter and the Medical College of Wisconsin Health Network.
Heart disease won't stop us. Diabetes won't slow us down. Allergies, high blood pressure, shoulder pain, cancer. Nothing will keep us from pushing Wisconsin ahead. Because with the Freighter and the Medical College of Wisconsin Health Network, forward progress is what we stand for. That means always pushing and always innovating. With new technologies and breakthrough treatments that make life better, whether we're sick or well. It means providing more convenience and more ways to receive medical excellence for all your health needs, for big and small. It means being there for you, our family, caring for yours. So let's keep raising the bar. Let's keep testing the limits of what medicine can do. Let's push ahead and make life here as great as it can be. Visit Freighter.com to find out how.
As an independent tire and service center, our loyalty is to you, not the manufacturer.
It's the tire manufacturer's goal to design a superior tire.
But it's our job to ensure the right tires are properly installed on your vehicle.
A service our family has been independently providing for the past 2 generations. So make no mistake about it, our loyalty is to you.
And the dozens of tire brands we carry, like Goodyear, General, and Pirelli,
or Continental, Kelly, and Dunlop, well, that's for you too.
Because we won't know what type of tire you need until you get here.
So instead, we carry them all.
Because we install them all.
And every tire we install automatically comes with free flat tire repair.
Which means you're 100% covered.
No questions asked.
I guess you could call it family tradition.
Be safe, buckle up, and hey.
Always make sure you've got good tread on your tires. I'm Brett Matchke with Richlawns. Your
due for service.
Richlawns Tire and Service. Such a refreshing change. Richlawns.
Time for a WTMJ Sports Update.
The Bucks were up against it last night in the desert, falling to Phoenix 114-106. Dame didn't play, neither did Brooke Lopez, and Chris Middleton stepped on Kevin Durant's foot, missed most of the game, and left the arena in a walking boot. Milwaukee went 1-4 on the road trip with Doc Rivers at the controls. Back home tomorrow night to host Minnesota. The Badgers have a great opportunity to snap their 2-game losing streak tonight on the road in Ann Arbor to face last-placed Michigan. Tip-off is set for 6 p.m. Coaching staff shuffle in Green Bay as former defensive coordinator Joe Barry heads to Miami to become the Dolphins linebackers coach, replacing the former guy who held that position, Anthony Campanile, who now takes over that same role in Green Bay with the Packers. I'm Bob Brainerd, WTMJ Sports.
WTMJ Johnson & Sons paving time-saver traffic. Only real trouble spot, and it's not even really all that bad, is 94 eastbound. You are seeing some tightness, some congestion heading east right around the stadium. Of course, some road work being done there right around 35th Street again. So you'll see some slowdowns there. It's not going to stop you from where you're getting to go, but you will see some congestion in that stretch. Elsewhere, looking good. 4145 southbound Highway Q to the Zoo is on time, delay-free. 43 southbound is clear from Brownview Road into downtown. And no problem 94 northbound from Layton into the city. That is delay-free.
Traffic is sponsored by the Heiser Automotive Group. Come in and make that deal. Visit Heiser Automotive Group with 4 convenient locations or online at heiser.com. Ford, Chevy, Toyota, Lincoln, and Cadillac. Today's your day.
WTMJ 5-day forecast. A little bit of fog this morning lingering around. Otherwise, it's going to be some filtered sunshine throughout the day today, a high of 47. For tonight, cloudy and mild, a low of 39. Tomorrow, the high is 54. Now, there is a chance for some scattered showers on Thursday. Also, a rumble of thunder, maybe. A high of 54 Thursday. Friday, the high is 52. That temp will begin to fall in the afternoon. Saturday, partly cloudy, a high of 40. Sunday, down to a high of 38 degrees. Again on Super Bowl Sunday. Right now, in Milwaukee, 34. I'm Eric Bilstead, Siding Unlimited, WTMJ News Time, 11:07.
Live from the Annex Wealth Management Studios at the Avenue, it's WTMJ Now. News, opinions, Wisconsin. Everything you need to know in the Badger State and beyond. Here's your host, Steve Scaffidi.
That would be my view. Happy Wednesday, everybody. That means Wednesday, 11 o'clock, we do something called Ask Steve Anything. Any question, fair game, an idea I stole from a talker up in Minneapolis, the state of Minnesota. Most good radio ideas, segments, features are stolen from other people. That's what we do. We cannibalize each other. I try to do something different, though. And I still think I'm the only one around town doing this, so we'll keep it going as long as we can. Ask Steve Anything. I got to tell you, the text line is a great way to get a hold of me, 855-616-1620, WTMJ Talk, and text line. I have not seen it as busy as it has been today in our last hour. I wasn't going to talk about the border, immigration, Congress for a full hour, but you guys were fired up, passionate. Everyone's got an opinion. Everyone has a right to an opinion, certainly. Here's the problem. With the rise of talk radio years ago, and continues strong today, with the rise of the fake news/opinion hosts on some of the big networks, the CNNs, the MSNBCs, the Foxes, and other Newsmax, OAN, all that stuff. The viewers/listeners to those platforms all think they're experts now. And we're all walking around in this world of experts. Here's the reality. Maybe this is tough love, I don't know. We're not experts on this stuff. There are people who are experts, and one of the things I'm going to do in 2024 is bring you those experts, whether they're experts on journalism or the law, legal system, public safety, politics, yes, even politics, elected officials, the job of an elected official, the job of leading a community. Their opinions actually carry more weight because they actually work in the area that they're talking about. Doesn't mean you can't have an opinion. It's just not necessarily going to be as informed and as experienced as a subject matter expert. Does it make sense? So a lot of pressure on you, Al. You're starting us off on Ask Steve Anything. Al calling from Sherman Park. What say you, Al?
So rather than start out with the assumption that we don't listen to experts, it's going to lead into my next question. Why are you blaming Trump for something that the voters can see with their own eyes, and why don't you think the voters aren't pushing this up from the bottom up to Trump, and Trump is just echoing what he hears the voters say?
So you're talking about Trump in general and policy in general, or like a specific part of Trump's
Yeah, you're talking about with this border, with this immigration thing, because we saw when Biden came in that we didn't have this rate of border crossings and these people claiming faux or fake asylum and just allowing them in and releasing them. There are some executive orders that the president undid, remain in Mexico, and then he put in executive order for catch and release that are exacerbating this problem. And I think he should stew in his own poo, nor should we accept 5,000 illegals a day when even Obama said 1,000 was a crisis.
Yeah, I'm not blaming Trump. I'm blaming all elected officials because, thanks for the call, Al. The problem that we've had here, I'm going to state it again. I don't want to just spend the whole hour talking about immigration and border policy, but we can if you want to. First of all, 5,000, I don't believe the language I've seen refers to illegal crossings. I believe it's an attempt to control the number of people who legally come across our border for whatever reason, seeking asylum, whatever that is, in a more orderly process. 1. 2, caller Sam used the Ellis Island example. Now, it's not the same thing. Ellis Island is a historical example. It's now a museum, not a place where people coming from other countries process through. But the example is a good one, actually, and it was a good analogy by Sam. For too long, and there's a lot to this, so I'll give you the explanation. Because of the history of this country and the history with Mexico, it's an imaginary border. For hundreds of years, people crossed back and forth, didn't matter, including the early years of the United States. And then it did. For whatever reason, Mexican citizens feel they should be able to come to the United States, seeking opportunity, employment, whatever it is. And that's been a hard transition for this country to understand, its citizens to understand that reality for those citizens of Mexico and beyond, South America. So somebody asked me for a solution before. Whatever legislation Congress comes up with, whether that's now or a year from now or maybe never, it should be a clearly defined process with as much politics removed from it that says this is a safe number, this is what we can adequately handle, here's the process. We have enough Border Patrol agents to make sure that people aren't crossing illegally, risking their own lives, by the way. Young children drowning in a river is not the best PR for a country as great as ours. My 2 cents. If you were seeking asylum, here's the process. We're not just catching and releasing people into our country because that's not good for our country. For all the reasons that callers laid out, whether that's human trafficking, drug trafficking, criminal activity, gangs. It's not a good look. So I think that's the way I would approach it. That's what I'm asking for, is a reasonable, rational, common sense using adults. Removing the politics. I don't blame Trump. I blame them all, I guess is the right way to say it. Trump wasn't perfect. Biden messed the bet when he came in office. And here we are. We have to live with the results. I'm not one who idolizes political figures. I applaud them when they do something I think is the right thing to do, and I criticize them when I think it isn't. It's the way I approach it. I'm not about adulation or cult-like worship. And I think people that do that on either side are delusional at best. Doreen from Menominee Falls. Hi, Doreen.
Hey, good morning, Steve. How are you?
I'm good. How are you on this Wednesday?
I'm doing okay.
Okay. What's your question?
I want to know, how do you feel about the ruling that came up yesterday about the Michigan mom?
The mother of the school shooter.
Yes.
I believe she's guilty. Why do I say that? Because she ignored warning signs. She contributed to the needless deaths of students in her child's school. She had a big role to play in how that shook out. And I think it sends a strong message that in this country, even though you're not necessarily the shooter, if you contribute to a killing or violent crime, you're also somewhat responsible. Does that answer your question?
I agree with you 110%. And I was just wondering if you were planning a future show on getting everyone's opinions on that. I have been pushing for this. You brought this up a while, I don't know how long ago, and that was my comment, was we need to hold the parents accountable. And yes, we're raising them. We can't give up. We can't. Yeah. No, I love your comments.
All right. Well, thank you, Doreen. And I will take your advice, and we'll do a future segment on that, because I think it's important. I don't sugarcoat my response. I am sick and tired of being sick and tired about politics, and one of the things that drives me nuts is this will now be another example. People say, oh, that's too much. She didn't kill him. You know what? Until you actually start doing things. Jennifer Crumbly, the mom, dad, probably going to plead guilty now, or he'll face the same probably result that she faced. I thought her answers were flippant. I thought she disregarded her role as a parent in the worst possible way and created a dangerous situation not only for her son, who she should care about, but also for her son's classmates. And now innocent people are killed. I saw two of the parents on, I think it was CNN last night. What do you say to them? They raise their kids, send them to school, they never come home. I was fortunate enough to meet with parents from Sandy Hook at several different events, including almost all of them at the White House in an event about 6 months after the shooting. And that's not something you forget, because it was still very raw then. And I sat in a large room at the White House, and as the president and the vice president were talking about all of this, you could hear the parents crying. And I was sitting next to several mayors from around the country that had gone through mass shootings like we did. Ron Rordam from Blacksburg, Virginia, and a few others. And when you're sitting in a room with a couple hundred people and you have the vice president and the president of the United States standing there addressing this group of parents and families who have suffered probably the worst imaginable loss. And if you don't know the Sandy Hook story, you've been living in a cave. It is one of the most tragic situations because they sent first graders off and they didn't return, and they were killed in the most horrific way possible. So that understanding maybe gives me a little extra clue into what we should be doing. And frankly, to Doreen's question, that's a good first step. Parents need to be parents. And in the case of the Crumbleys, they failed miserably. Quick break.
More of WTMJ now after this.
Be sure to load up on Vienna Beef hot dogs for this weekend's big football game. The official hot dog of the Milwaukee Brewers is Vienna Beef. Manufactured and produced since 1893. Available at select grocers and hot dog stands near you.
Hey, this is WTMJ Steve Scaffidi for the Bath Authority. If your bath or shower is old, outdated, has mold or mildew or broken tiles, you got to call my friends at the Bath Authority. The Bath Authority provides the highest quality bathroom remodeling products along with a world-class, best-in-class customer experience. I'm not kidding. Their modern, durable tubs and showers are designed with an exclusive, high-tech polymer liner. What that means for you? Low maintenance, resistant to mold and mildew, easy to clean, lasting for decades. Sound like something you want to see? I think it is. Plus, it comes with a lifetime warranty. They just throw that in, but that's really important. Check it out. TheBathAuthority.com. TheBathAuthority.com. A better bath awaits.
The reviews are in, and folks seem to like how we do business. And what's more, they can't get over the level of service and real estate expertise they get for far less than what they'd pay an agent from a big-name company. At 3.5 to 3.9%, you'll save up to nearly 50% in commission by choosing a Benefit Realty full-service agent. Everything they do, we do, for up to 50% less. There's no catch. I'm Angela Calais with Benefit Realty, where you pay less for full service. See our success stories at benefit-realty.com. One day, a 3.5 to 3.9% real estate commission structure will be commonplace. But for now, it's not the case. So you can pay 6% for what we can do for about half that, or you can pay less for full service. For some, it's hard to believe, but for our customers, they know it to be true. I'm Angela Calais with Benefit Realty, and our agents understand the meaning of great customer service. And you'll see they're the cream of the crop. So don't pay more than you have to. Pay less for full service with Benefit Realty. Benefit-realty.com.
Wealth-changing question. Has your advisor created a portfolio based only on your age and risk tolerance? That's simply not good enough. Your money deserves better, and so do you. At Creative Planning, our private wealth managers learn about you first, and then they create a customized plan and portfolio by partnering with our in-house money managers, accountants, and attorneys. Don't settle for a standard portfolio. Book your free meeting today at creativeplanning.com. Creative Planning, a richer way to wealth.
WTMJ Now.
Join us for a little version of Ask Steve Anything. Lots of folks are texting questions. We've got some phone calls as well. 855-616-1620 from the text line 262. In what ways does the current Republican Party represent you? It seems the past 12 years, most reasonable Republicans are wishfully thinking the party will magically return to the Reagan-Bush years. It's a good question. I mean, I've talked about it sort of in the context of talking about specific issues related to our government and our leaders. My version of Republican policy ideology is that small government is the way to go. I'm not a fan of the government giving everybody everything, providing all these things. Doesn't mean we should eliminate that stuff. Just means I think we create a class of people who get used to that, who don't have an incentive to improve their lot in life. And I think that's the story of it. We were talking about immigration before. My grandparents came from Sicily with nothing. Raised their kids, bought a home. The legacy of those two arrivals at Ellis Island not only led to great personal stories, family stories, but great success in a lot of different ventures. In a lot of different ways, that story could be a similar story to what happens on the border with Mexico, but we don't let that happen. It's become polluted by the politics of the day, which is now decades old. It says, we're going to argue about this. The arguing gets us votes. The disagreement plays well to our base, whether that's Republicans or Democrats. So my version of the Republican Party is one that believes in small government. Less taxes. Lean, mean, efficient local government. Not trying to do everything for everybody. What it doesn't mean, however, is everybody gets to do it and say whatever they want to. Because rules matter too. There are standards and codes that we should all live by. Not religious standards, because we don't have a national religion, but standards of decency and conduct. And I think most Americans, most Republicans that I know that are not crazy, believe the same thing. So, great question. Steve calls from my favorite city, Oak Creek. Hey, Steve.
Yeah, good morning. This is the other Steve from Oak Creek. My question is, how do you plan on covering the RNC convention this summer when it's in Milwaukee? Are you going to be on site or just working from the studios?
Still being worked on, but the plan is for me to be on site working with our team here at WTMJ. So I'll be getting the interviews from the Republican National Convention and trying to get all the important voices and figures in this really important event for Milwaukee. I'm looking forward to it. I think it's going to be fascinating. It's a good tease. Thanks for the call, Steve. It's a good tease for my Decision Wisconsin podcast. I do 2 new ones every week, and I'm trying to cover this election, this campaign season, this RNC coming to Milwaukee from a lot of different angles, legal. Matter of fact, Thursday on the show, we're going to have actually a couple of legal experts. But like today, I'm interviewing a professor of political science to get the academic perspective on politics in America. She teaches American history, political history, American politics. And I talked to elected officials, former elected officials. I'm talking next week, and we'll have that available for you probably midweek next week. CNN's chief political correspondent from Congress, Manu Raju, who does a great job covering the senators and representatives who lead our country. So if you can find it on WTMJ.com or wherever you get your podcasts, Apple, Spotify, and the like. Decision Wisconsin. And don't forget Scaffidi. We're going to release them now on Fridays for your weekend consumption. And we got a really good one this week. I teased it the other day, but it's Gene Miller, former Wisconsin Morning News radio guy, local radio legend. And we had a lot of fun. We talked to him a little longer than I usually talk. We probably went 20-plus minutes, but Gene was amazing. Talked about a little bit about politics and not so much about politics, but sports and the big thing you want to hear from Gene in that 20-plus minute conversation, his comments about Craig Counsell going to the Cubs. That's our little featured nugget. So that's part of the podcast. Scaffidiology is the name of the podcast, also available at WTMJ.com or wherever you get your podcasts. Another quick break. Ask Steve anything. What's your question?
More of WTMJ Now after this. Wisconsin's Morning News.
The EMS system here worked as designed.
It did not.
Listen to Vince Vetrano every weekday starting at 6 a.m.
The video simply does not support the claim that Mrs. Waldrop was obscured by a snowbank. Alderman Lamont Westmoreland, that's his district. This is his statement. I've met with MFD Fire Chief Aaron Lipsky. I am 100% confident that there will be standard operating procedure updates, changes that will strengthen protocols to reduce the chance of this type of incident reoccurring. Good. There should be changes.
Better days start with a better night's sleep on a mattress from Milwaukee Mattress and Ken Michaels Furniture. Handcrafted in Milwaukee, our mattresses are custom built to your needs. We have all the comfort and firmness options to give you your best night's rest. Buying direct from our factory showrooms will save you up to 50% compared to national brands. Shop today during our New Year's sale at Ken Michaels Furniture for over 75 years of uncompromising quality, local factory direct saving, and your best night's sleep. Start the new year right with Norwalk Furniture on sale now at Ken Michaels Furniture. Save 35% on showroom pieces that are ready for immediate delivery, or in just 35 days, you can create a look that reflects your unique style with over 850 fabric and leather options and comfort levels, from cuddling to extra firm support. Norwalk Furniture's American roots go back over 102 years. For better quality American-made upholstery, shop the Norwalk Upholstery Sale at any Ken Michaels Furniture locations in Greenfield, Brookfield, or downtown.
Our mission is to protect and uphold our reputation. At Semper Fi, it's the banner we all march under, because the reputation we earn and uphold belongs to all of us. And without a strong reputation in the exterior remodeling business, you're here today and gone tomorrow. And when you've earned a good reputation, that's what makes the difference in value. It's the little extra that you get for the price. And that assurance is actually what counts the most, because it means the good money you're spending with us is not going to go to waste. A roof you can rely on, with a warranty that has a backbone. Craftsman quality airtight window and door installations. Brick and stone masonry that's clean and sharp. And new siding that's been known to stop traffic. And it's all backed by a team that over the last 20 years have put a lot of heart and soul into building a reputation that you can believe in. This is Brad Youngbluth with Semper Fi Roofing and Exteriors, your local, veteran-owned and operated exterior remodeling company.
We keep you safe, warm, and dry. Semper Fi.
It's WTMJ Now.
Ask you anything, any question, fair game, politics, culture, entertainment, sports, you name it. Here's a good one from the 262. If you could ask Donald Trump one question, what would it be? Let's say a little context. This is, let's say I'm going to ask him during the end days of this campaign for president 2024. First, I would recite some of the things he's been convicted and possibly, or charged with and potentially convicted of, including the E. Jean Carroll story, the stripper stuff, all that stuff. And I would say, given that, Why would we vote for you? Is this the conduct of a president of the United States? Now, he's not going to answer the question. And he would say that's fake news, probably. He would say those stories are untrue. But I often say this about people who just deny everything, even though some of it's glaringly obvious. At some point, the rest of us are looking and saying, you know what? We've had a ton of presidents. We've had 46 now. Other than Richard Nixon and a few early on in the tenure of our country, most of them didn't embroil themselves in these kind of controversies. They accepted their fates. They did the work. Now, obviously, the hyper-partisan world we live in now, although it was pretty hyper-partisan back in the early days as well, instantaneous communications changed things. As I said before, everybody thinks they're an expert on everything now, and they're not, including radio hosts, by the way. So I guess that's the question I'd ask him. It's kind of a long-winded answer to that question, but that's what I would ask him. Question for Steve. Who would you choose to lead the RNC now that Ron McDaniel is being forced out and resigning after the South Carolina primary? I'd love to see Paul Ryan because he's actually a real Republican and a conservative. That's not going to happen. So here's what I would suggest to Donald Trump because he wants this thing over with so he can focus on the general election. Pick yourself. You're such a good fundraiser. See how good you are. Dirty little secret for Republicans is they're not raising anywhere near close enough to the number they need to run a successful candidate for president. Now, no shocking breaking news here. I don't think Donald Trump, although he will be the candidate more than likely, is going to beat Joe Biden if he's the candidate. As unpopular as Joe Biden is. You can't be a Republican and win a presidential election when a third, let's say 30% of Republicans can't stand you. Because the math doesn't work. You need all the Republicans and a ton of independents. And he's losing the independent battle as well. Is something going to change that between now and November? I guess maybe. Which leads us to Don from the West Side. Hi, Don.
Hi, Steve. My question is, do you think that anyone in what I can consider the irrelevant Republican Party will stand up to have enough guts to stand up to Trump and try and stop what he's doing? I don't think they will. And you've got a disgraced former president basically giving orders to the House of Representatives, and they say, yes, sir, yes, sir. Gallagher could be in some trouble because he's basically defying someone who could be the first emperor of the United States.
Yeah, thanks for the question, Don. I'll let you hang up and listen to the answer. That's a fantastic question. Well, I mean, Paul Ryan has, right? He's a real Republican, in my mind. I know some people don't think so. I would think that, well, let's put it in this context. If Trump's the nominee and he's convicted before the actual first Tuesday in November, you're going to see a lot of Republicans say, yeah, I can't do this. Unfortunately, it's too late. And this will make people mad, but, I'm paid to have an opinion, at least right now. There is a time of reckoning coming. When you keep supporting nonsense and conspiracy theories, this works for both sides because there's some members of the Democratic Party that are absolutely insane and demonstrate that every day. And they have no illusion about actually trying to get things done because there's such a small group. The squad comes to mind. Living in this fairy tale world where the government hands out everything to everybody and nothing is paid for. Deficits explode. I think there has to be at some point a reckoning. And for Republicans, it's going to be hard because if Trump's the candidate, if he gets beaten by Joe Biden again, it's going to get really ugly because he's not going to go easy. And Republicans and conservatives are going to be tested, especially in this state, because there's still a lot of those people that are hanging out there saying, oh, this is all made up. He won the election, blah, blah, blah. It's a witch hunt. If he loses this election badly, you're going to be standing there holding a bag of air because there's nothing to base anything on. You lost. He lost. He let you down. And at some point, you have to understand that if you want to win elections, because Republicans in the state of Wisconsin, the angry ones, they don't seem to care about that. They like the anger. They don't necessarily care about the results of the elections, and they've lost, 14 out of 17. You want to actually start winning elections, practicing real Republican principles of small governments, lower taxes, really concise, clear policy and legislation. It's not Donald Trump. Let's change gears completely. Tom from Anthem, Arizona. Hi, Tom.
Hello, Steve. How you doing this morning?
I am wonderful. How are you doing? You're in Anthem, Arizona.
I'll tell you what, Steve, it's cold out here. They've got the start of the waste management open. And
I know.
I'm telling you, it's 48 degrees here today. I'd rather be back in Wisconsin.
I think it's going to be 47 or 48 here today. So, yeah, that's not typical. That's not typical, though.
No, it's not. It really isn't. But, Steve, last night on one of the Phoenix affiliates, they did a little feature on the growing cost of alcohol drinks in restaurants and high-end restaurants in particular. And my wife and I have noticed this as well as we travel cross country and been around, that a lot of high-end restaurants, Steve, are no longer posting their prices for drinks and a lot of their high-end menu items. It's all, it's market value. I guess and we saw it in Albuquerque. We see it a lot out here in Phoenix. My question to you is, Steve, I think you go out quite a bit with your wife and enjoy a nice dinner.
I do.
When you see no prices on the menu, it's just the list of drinks with no pricing, or it's market value. Is it proper to ask the price of a drink or of a entree item, or we kind of, if we want it, we get it, but then we get the bill and we say, oh, geez.
Yeah, no, it's great. It's a great question, and thanks for tuning in all the way from Anthem, Arizona. Yeah, I would ask. I also, this is maybe my wife and I do it differently than most people. When we go to a restaurant that we've never been before, we searched our website before we go. And if I see a restaurant that has a lot of things that are market price, I'm going to ask some questions because I don't want to be surprised. Now, I'm not usually paying cash for this stuff, so I mean it's not that sort of a situation. But I don't want to be expecting let's say for two people at a really nice restaurant, $150 or $200. I don't want the $500 surprise. Does that make sense? So I would certainly ask the question.
So how common are market prices on menu? Because I only see it for maybe crab legs or lobster tails.
Yeah, it's mostly seafood. I was at a restaurant, I think it was called The Catch in Vegas, and I'm stumped right now on what hotel that was in. It might have been Cosmopolitan, I'm guessing. And they had a few of those. But we asked because that was one of those meals we had our daughters with us and their husbands, our son-in-laws. The price wasn't the concern. We wanted good food. So we asked, and I think some of those things we actually got. So I don't think it's real common. I know it's not common in Milwaukee. There may be a few places, and especially for the crab legs, because crab legs are skyrocketing in price. That would be an example of that. All right, I think we got another break here, right? Another break, and then we got more time. Ask Steve anything. Got a couple of callers here. Lots of texts. We'll get to those. And your questions next.
It's WTMJ Now.
Here at Richlands, we offer both comfort service and expert service.
Our comfort service comes with movie theater popcorn, hot gourmet coffee, upfront pricing, on-time scheduling, plus anything else we can do to keep you comfortable.
Put that on top of honest service from the most friendliest, hard-working people you'll ever meet inside a tire and service center. And well, we'd like to believe we're on the right track to meeting your expectations.
But when your check engine light, tire light, or any other light screams, "Service me," well, that means you're due for our other type of service.
Our expert service. Tires, brakes, belts, mufflers, transmissions, and even engine repair.
Come on into Richlands and put our expert service to the test.
And while you're relaxing, enjoy our comfort services too. I'm Brett Matchke with Richlands, your
due for service.
Since 1964, we've changed your tires and so much more. Richlands Tire and Service, such a refreshing change. Richlands.
WTMJ's John Mercure here for senior real estate specialist Bruce and Jean Nemovitz. If you've been holding off on selling your home or downsizing your parents' home, now's the time to contact Bruce and Jean. You deserve to enjoy the lifestyle you've earned. Learn how their team will guide you every step of the way. Join me at their free in-person seminar, March 5th, Berner Botanical Gardens. Doors open at 8:30, and you'll get critical info from local senior community representatives. Register at brucesteam.com, taking you from overwhelmed to I can do this. brucesteam.com.
My part-time service in the Army National Guard makes it possible for me to be more for the community I call home. My training helps me at work when I lead by example. My service in the Army National Guard allows me to keep my community and those I care about safe from threats. Learn more about how you too can live and serve part-time close to home by visiting NationalGuard.com.
Sponsored by the Wisconsin Army National Guard. Aired by the Wisconsin Broadcasters Association and this station.
WTMJ Now.
Ask Steve Anything, our weekly foray into you all out there in Radio Land, leading the hour, going where you want to go. Some great questions on the text line. Got some callers as well. We'll try to get those folks in. We got another couple breaks we got to get in here. Let's see. You think the gender pay gap in the U.S. could be explained by a combination of different socioeconomic decisions like job type, maternity leave, interest in STEM fields, or do you think that this country's a bunch of dirty, rotten sexists? No. I think there's a lot of reasons for that. Now, you're a fool if you don't think women have suffered because of men controlling everything for hundreds of years. So don't think that. But I think we sometimes, as we often do, we go too far and we try to make everything appear like it's black and white. It's not. There's nuance to everything. And because of, in some case, physical liabilities that women have that men don't have, although women surprise me sometimes. It's amazing. Women firefighters certainly picking up the slack. There are challenges. And I've used this analogy before. Everybody, when they have a problem, we have an issue in this country, or an issue in your family, it's not that you can fix it always on day one. Sometimes things take a little time to course correct. And that's true for things like the gender pay gap and racism. These things don't get fixed overnight. We wish they would and hope that they could, but that's not the reality. The unfortunate reality is, if you're talking about racism, there's people that are racist. I think that's changing. I just saw this stat the other day, and it's a general guess because I don't remember the exact numbers. More and more marriages in our country, United States, are interracial. I could be wrong on this, but by definition, that growing number, which I think was 16%, I would think that would sort of demand that those two people of different races who are deciding to marry each other would probably tamp down racism in our country, I would think. And that number only grows every year. So it's just a kind of a different way of looking at a stats, but sort of a long-winded answer. But I hope I got to what you were trying to figure out there. Chris from Wauwatosa, welcome to the show. Happy Wednesday.
Hey, happy Wednesday, Steve. Thanks for taking my call.
Sure.
I always love your show and in your politics, and as a Democrat, you have me switching more towards Nikki Haley. But the question that I have for you is, what are your thoughts on Republicans that are kind of ruling out of fear of Donald Trump versus the Democrats, which seem to be kind of working as a team to get things done in Congress? And I'll hang up to listen to your answer. Thanks so much.
Yeah, thanks for the kind words. Thanks for the question. I think it's dumb. I think they are living in fear. I don't know what they're afraid of, to be honest. What's he gonna do to you? If you're an elected official, whatever level you're at, and your principal fear in life is that you're going to lose your position, your priorities are messed up. These are not guaranteed lifetime jobs unless you're a U.S. Supreme Court justice. So I don't get that fear. The Trump legacy, I think, my opinion, I know some of you love Donald Trump, and that's okay. We live in a great country that allows you to have that opinion. He's dumbed down a lot of things that I used to appreciate were held to a higher standard. Presidential conduct, how you communicate with people, how you treat other people, how you respect other people. And I'm embarrassed, the other part of this, by people that I know and respect on my side of the political aisle who have embarrassed themselves by doing one of two things: supporting some of this nonsense, or two, staying silent as these things are happening. And those people know who they are. They're going to have to defend themselves at some point. And they are certainly vocal on a lot of other things. But when it comes to Donald Trump, they embarrass themselves with their silence or with their support. And the comment on the Democrats is a good one. I had Ben Wickler on my Decision Wisconsin podcast. I'm not a Democrat, but I respect a well-run organization. He's an example of that. He's really good at what he does. Really good. And he's going to be on the program a lot through 2024 because we're going to have both sides. Leaders from both sides, electeds from both sides, candidates from both sides. And his organizational skills are as good as it gets. Ben Wickler, chair of the Wisconsin's Democratic Party. Steve from Hartford. Hey, Steve. Welcome.
Hi, Steve. Can you hear me all right?
I can.
Okay. I was just wondering if a number of years ago there was a big concern over the foundation pilings under some of the older buildings in downtown Milwaukee with the water levels changing and the old wood pilings rotting. And I was just wondering if you knew of any update on that situation, given all the development downtown and the deterioration of things like the domes. I just haven't heard anything lately. Is that still a concern under the downtown Milwaukee, some of the office buildings?
Yeah, to answer your question, I don't think so, but it actually prompts me, thanks for the call, Steve. It prompts me to actually do a little more research on that. I heard those concerns. I just did a quick look on Lake Michigan water levels and where we're at, and I think it's showing that there won't be a significant change as of right now. We had some good rainfall totals. We had a little bit of snow. But obviously that can change quickly, right? We've had years where it's been way down and it's started to rebound a little bit. Matter of fact, the latest data on Lake Michigan water levels means likely about 6 inches below the same month in 2023. So not a huge amount, but when you think about 6 inches with the volume of water in Lake Michigan, that is a big amount when you think about all the rain and ice that would have been. We'll take a break here. You're listening, of course, to WTMJ Now.
More of WTMJ Now after this.
AccuNet Mortgage is an equal housing lender. NMLS ID 255368.
Steve and Ashley heard our radio ads over the years, and when it came time to buy their first home, clicked on the blue button. One of our senior loan consultants, Brad, sent them a credit-verified pre-approval the same day and then upgraded to a rock-solid, fully verified and guaranteed pre-approval shortly thereafter. They made a couple offers without success, and then Brad told them about AccuNet's new property-specific pre-approval, where we might be able to include those magic words, no appraisal required. When they wrote their next offer, several $1,000s over asking to make sure someone else didn't end up sleeping in their dream home, their property-specific rock-solid guaranteed pre-approval included that most powerful phrase, no appraisal required, and the sellers picked Steve and Ashley's offer over several others. If you think all mortgage lenders and pre-approvals are the same, think again. Go with a local mortgage lender that has the tools and know-how to help you win and save money, too. Click on the blue button today at accunet.com.
Brewers win!
Get more from your live baseball experience with the 2024 Brewers Ticket Plan. On sale now. Don't miss more exclusive Brewers season seat holder rewards, like your very own batting practice session, more can't-miss action, and more access to the game you love. It's your ticket to being a VIP Brewers fan this season. Plus, you'll enjoy savings on ticket prices you can't get anywhere else. Learn more at brewers.com/ticket plans.
Hey, WTMJ's John Mercure here. When I grab a hot dog, I make sure it's a Vienna beef hot dog, the official hot dog of the Milwaukee Brewers and the best hot dog in the business. It's the biggest week in football. Make sure you stock up at your local grocer with Vienna beef hot dogs. Manufactured since 1893, they are the real deal. Available at select grocers and hot dog stands in the Milwaukee area. It's football week. It's Vienna beef week. It's Vienna beef hot dogs, the only thing you need at your tailgate. John Mercure, Vienna beef. It's my hot dog.
Home and auto insurance continues to get more turbulent. Here's Jeff Salasinski, VP of Insurance Operations at R&R Insurance.
Thank you, Vince. It's hard to remember a time when the home and auto insurance market was this complex. Insurance companies are getting out of the personal insurance business altogether. The cumulative effect of inflation on home repairs, auto repairs, and used cars is staggering. Higher deductibles are being applied to roofs for perils like wind and hail, meaning more out-of-pocket expense for the consumer. Insurance companies are extremely focused on writing only profitable new business and raising premiums to cover the increased cost of claims.
So, Jeff, what's the solution?
As a business insurance top 100 firm, Our deep industry knowledge and our team of professionals carefully and accurately design insurance programs that protect our clients and their most valuable assets while being competitive on price. At R&R Insurance, we know home and auto insurance.
That's Jeff from R&R Insurance. Thanks for the great info, Jeff.
WTMJ Now.
A few more minutes left. Ask Steve anything. Do I have another break yet? Do I have still another break? Oh, my goodness. I did not do a good job with time management this hour. I was so good in hour one and maybe even hour two, but I'm not perfect. We all know that. Lots of questions coming in. Very busy text line day today. I'm not kidding. Like 1,000 texts today. So good job to all of you listening out there. 855-616-1620. Steve, Brock Purdy was Mr. Irrelevant, last person picked in the NFL draft, and is in the Super Bowl. Mahomes is a top 20 pick and is in the Super Bowl again. Think Tom Brady, late rounder. Do NFL scouts really know what they're doing with high draft picks? Or is it really just a job of chance that any of us could probably do? I think it's sort of a mixed bag, right? Some of these top drafted quarterbacks turn out to be amazing. And even though it took him a while to get there, Jordan Love, he might be one of those. Aaron Rodgers, first-round draft pick, Hall of Famer. I think Brett Favre, if I remember, was picked by the Falcons either at the end of the first or beginning of the second. He's a Hall of Famer. But then you have the Tom Bradys, and you have the Brock Purdys. But there's one thing about football, NFL football specifically. It's a team sport. So Brock Purdy's surrounded by some pretty great athletes, as was Tom Brady. I'm not a Tom Brady lover per se, but I understand his talent. He's the greatest quarterback to ever play on a team in the NFL. I don't know that skills-wise he's the greatest quarterback. I would say maybe Peyton Manning, maybe even Aaron Rodgers, if you take the crazy out. So I think there's always room for interpretation. I love the Brock Purdy story. That being said, I'm still cheering for the Chiefs in the Super Bowl. I think Patrick Mahomes has a chance to be the best ever. Let's see. This might be well, I'm going to take it. Charlie from Germantown. Welcome to the show.
Thank you, Steve. Another football question. I have one of my grandsons just finished fourth grade flag football. He's played a couple of years of that. If he continues on next year, he can go to play tackle football. So if he plays through high school, that's another 8 years of football. Let's say he's good enough, goes to college and plays football. That's another 4 years. That's 14 years of football. Let's say by some fluke, he's good enough to go to the NFL. When he gets there, they say he's a rookie and he has everything to learn. After hundreds of games, thousands of practices for 14 or 16 years, is he really that unknowledgeable is my question. And is he really a rookie, or does he just have to fit into the system? You're a football guy, so I'll value your opinion.
Yeah, thanks for it's a great, unique question, Charlie. So two answers, really. No, he doesn't have a lot to learn about the game of football. He has a lot to learn about the speed and the tempo of the NFL. I've sat on a sideline or stood on a sideline during NFL football games. Two things. Faster than you could ever imagine, and the players, even the small players, are bigger than you could ever imagine. And when you take those two things and combine them, that's the lot to learn piece. It's a significant upgrade from college level football to the NFL. And ask anybody who's played NFL football. That's why any of these quarterbacks, pass catchers, that's such a specialized skill. Although I wish your relative luck there. That's if you love it, try, see what happens. Let's see. You mentioned that you would ask questions of Trump if his conduct was becoming of a president of the United States. What about Biden and Hunter finding cocaine in the White House? There are questions. I've said this all along. I'm no lover of Joe Biden. If there are things that Joe Biden or Hunter Biden or cocaine in the White House, if there are things that are worth pursuing as far as investigations, court cases, trials, convictions, I'm all in. But let's not spend all our time pursuing things that don't have any evidentiary basis. Sort of like impeachments that don't really have any water holding them up. Makes sense? Got to take another break here, then we'll wrap it up, and then we'll toss to the news at the top. You're listening, of course, to WTMJ Now.
More of WTMJ Now after this.